We are live. We are live. It feels like it's been a while since I did one of these things when all actuality, I'm literally keeping the same schedule. I do about maybe one or two of these in the middle of the week, then one on the weekend if there's a fight on, a good fight, because I know that this weekend we've got George Kambosos versus Maxie Hughes. I don't think I'm going to be going live for that one. I don't think. So I'll probably go live again tomorrow, perhaps. Maybe I go live for that Kambosos thing. I don't know. I don't feel the need to go live for that one. What it do, Avo? What it do, Danny? What it do, Old Dirty? It's a lot of stuff going on, man. What it do? What it do? Ray Pax Trucking Company 10-4. What it do? Unbiased. What it do, Mr. T. Mario Guzman? You already know. Team Baumgartner. Ow! You know what I mean? It's a lot of stuff going on. It's a lot of good fights on the way. Really, Crawford and Spence is right around the corner, folks. I think we could all celebrate that. Crawford and Spence is right around the corner. Let's get some jazzy tunes going. It's too quiet. It's a little bit too quiet for me. Let's get some jazzy tunes going. Let's get some jazzy tunes. Right. Here we go. We got a little bit of music playing. Let the music play. And yeah, Crawford and Spence is right around the corner. Basically 2 weekends. After this weekend, next weekend, it's the fight that we've been waiting for. And before that, we get the appetizer. We get Inoue versus Fulton. You might have noticed that in many episodes of the relay, I've been dedicating several segments to Spence versus Crawford. Aside from addressing many of the same old subjects, how Fury is ducking Usyk and a lot of the regular stuff, I feel like as a content creator, because that fight is so close and because it's been built up for so long, special attention should go into it. And I am hoping that the boxing fans, the ones that actually are boxing fans, that they buy the fight. I don't want it to flop. I don't want it to fail because that sends a bad message. Ideally, I would like for them to sell 1 million pay-per-view buys, but I can't tell you with any certainty that that's what they're going to do. I can only hope that they do that because it's better for the fighters. It sends the right message to the younger generation too, that if you do your thing, become a champion, you fight in fights that people want to see, there's a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. There's a light at the end of the tunnel. You know what I mean? So I am hoping that the pay-per-view does well, but realistically, I can't tell you with any certainty that this fight is ringing bells in all the same quarters as Garcia versus Davis. Earlier today, Oscar De La Hoya revealed that Ryan Garcia made about 30 mil from that fight. He made 30 mil, so, good for him. Made 30 mil. Congratulations, Ryan. You be doing your thing, old boy. And we'll see who he fights when he comes back. Ryan himself stated that the fight total, it brought in around 100 mil. 100 mil, which is a fantastic number. It's a great number. And you would hope that for the health of the sport, that most fights can perform that way at the box office. But there has to be quality control. Every halfway decent fight, that fight is one of the exceptions. That's a fight that you could say, yeah, that belongs on pay-per-view. Ryan Garcia versus Gervonta Davis. You could say that definitely that belongs on pay-per-view, but there are a lot of other fights that don't belong on pay-per-view. And you can't oversaturate the market with those kinds of fights because when they end up happening behind a paywall, less people buy them, less people see them, and the audience shrinks. So, there has to be quality control. There has to be. Apparently, Oscar De La Hoya and Ryan Garcia, they're still at odds with each other, which makes for very awkward. It makes things very awkward between them because he's still contracted to Golden Boy. He's not at liberty to leave that promotional outfit, but there is a rift. Their relationship is estranged. Oscar is not allowed to speak to him, right? That's crazy, right? Now, why in particular that is, I'm not completely sure. Why would Oscar not be allowed to communicate with what is his own fighter, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what the circumstances of that are, but you know, it doesn't surprise me. These things between Oscar and Ryan and Golden Boy, just that tumultuous relationship, that's not actually new. It's been that way for about, I'd say, maybe 3-4 years now. Like Ryan having issues with Golden Boy and just being a prima donna and just not being happy. That's actually old. It been that way, to be real. Like, that shit didn't start after the Davis fight. It actually been that way, you know? Real talk, what it do? Smokey, what it do? Candace, what it do? Daniel, what it do? Mr. T in the building. Ruben in the building. Dynamite in the building. And yeah, yo, Aaron Kuko in the building. Do you feel that this fight is a little under-promoted? I feel I should see billboards all over LA, and I don't. I do agree with you. I absolutely 100% do. I feel that the promotion could be stronger. I feel that for a fight that we all of us, had to wait 5 years for, that there could be more grandstanding. But the problem with it really is that Errol doesn't have Ryan Garcia's following, you know what I mean? Crawford, he doesn't have Ryan Garcia's following. So you're talking about two welterweights that, yeah, we know them because we watch a lot of boxing, but in the greater scheme of things, they're not really all that well known. Could there have been more of a promotional push to make them more well known? Well, that's what the last 5 years have been for, to, you know, promote the fight, which kind of goes back to something that I said the last couple of years, that the last 5 years have not really been built up for this fight, because in the last 5 years, we saw the PBC freeze out Terence Crawford and alienate Terence Crawford to the point where they were not even including him in their graphics for the welterweight division. A famous graphic that a lot of people were talking about was the one where they had, I think they had Errol, Shawn Porter, Manny Pacquiao, and Yordenis Ugas. But they didn't have Crawford, even though, you know, we all knew he was a champion, WBO champion, but they deliberately left him out. And it's things like that that create this situation where you feel like, yo, the fight should be bigger, the promotion should be better. Yeah, it should be. But the last 5 years have not been built up, you know? In the last 5 years, what's really been going on is they've been trying to convince you that, oh, well, Errol doesn't really need him. You know, he has other things he can do. He has other people that he can fight. And listen, credit to Errol Spence Jr. for deciding to do this, because he had another option. He could have fought Keith Thurman, and none of us would have been happy about it, but he did have that option. He chose to fight Crawford. I respect that. But leading up to this, what they've been telling us is that, oh, well, it's more important that he fights Mikey Garcia, that it's more important that he fights Shawn Porter, it's more important that he fight Danny and Manny, which eventually became Ugas. They've been giving us every substitute and every alternative for this, because what they were trying to convince us was that the fight's not that big or that it's not that important. And don't blame me for that. It was Tim Smith last year. You guys know I bring it up all the time. He's the one that said that he didn't think the fight would sell, that, oh, if they felt that there was money in it, they would do it. That's what he started off last year saying. So when I tell you that the last 5 years have not really been built up, that the last 5 years have not been promotion to build a fight, you can see what I mean. That, yeah, eventually we got it, but it's because of circumstance. Eventually we got it, but when you telling people, I don't really need that guy, I'm gonna fight this person, this and that, that's not really promoting a fight, you know? What is supposed to be the more popular fighter of the two, also this, that Errol is intended to be the more popular fighter of the two. He's supposed to be the more popular one, the more well-known one, based on him selling more pay-per-views than Crawford, right? But if Errol is the more popular one, it doesn't help the situation that the last 3 years he wasn't really fighting like that. Think about it. In the last 3 years, he fought 2 times in the last 3 years. And if he is intended to be the more popular one of the two, well, you not creating excitement if you ain't fighting. Now, we all know that he had the car accident to recuperate from. And we all know that he had the retina injury that benched him all of 2021. But the point remains that if he is supposed to be the more popular one of the two, and he ain't even been fighting like that, well, then you're not really going to create that much excitement because you ain't been fighting like that, you know? So it's just little things like that that create the environment that we in right now. It's little things like that. Shout out to Country for the super duper chat. Stuck in traffic, can't make the panel tonight, got business to take care of. What time will they show Inoue versus Fulton when it happens? Have a good night. Country, I think they said that the time is going to be 8 a.m. on the East Coast, but I know you in the West, so you're going to have to apply the math. If you go to the poster on Top Rank, on a Twitter page, on the poster, it says 8 a.m. Eastern time. So I'm going to assume that it's 2 to 3 hours behind. Y'all 2-3 hours behind us. So I'm going to assume that 5-6 a.m. if you in Cali on the West Coast, you know. So it's all that different stuff, man, that it is kind of a shame because, yeah, it's a great fight. It's undisputed and that's cool. But it do feel like it should be bigger. It do feel like the promotion is lacking. Or maybe it's just that, you know, at the end of the day, we hardcore boxing fans. We watch everything. And maybe what seems major to us does not seem major to the general public. Could be that. I do agree with you, though, bro. It feels like it should be bigger. I definitely agree with that. But, you know, here we are. Here we are. And, you know, I seen that there was like a controversy, or a makeshift controversy, because one of the guys at Fight Hype, he's talking about Inoue. He said that Inoue comes off as being very arrogant. He said that he is suspicious of Inoue because Inoue was complaining about being tested by VADA 2 times a week, you know, leading up to a fight. I forgot the guy's name. I think his name is Shawn Zito. He looks like Ashton Kutcher, but with more hair. I saw a lot of people talking about that. Some people didn't like what he was suggesting, that just because Inoue is complaining about having blood drawn 2 times a week, that doesn't make him a dirty fighter. Or, you know, questioning whether or not he was injured, you know, things like that. When it comes to the subject of doping in the sport of boxing, you guys know my stance. I'm a lot more cynical than other people. If you told me that you think Inoue is on something, not only would I probably agree with you, but I would follow up by saying, I think everybody is on something. Don't just pigeonhole him because of something. I think everybody's on something. In a sport where there is evidence of doping at every level in the sport, the high-profile people like Tyson Fury and Canelo Alvarez, all the way back to Roy Jones Jr. in 2001, at the highest levels and at the lowest levels, there is evidence of doping. So whenever the subject turns to that, I just kind of lose interest because I feel like it's infantile for you to focus. Oh, he's doping. Yeah, take a number, bro. A lot of people are doping. You're still gonna watch. You know that you would be heartbroken if this fight got canceled over doping. So just do what the sport itself does and pretend it's not there. Because you'd have to be very naive to think as many cases that are out there of doping, anyone from Oscar Valdez, the Conor Ben, the Ryan Martin, to Amir Khan more recently, it's very obvious that, yo, doping is widespread in the sport. Don't just focus on one guy. It's not about any one guy. Even if you feel that there was something suspicious about Inoue, there's something suspicious about everybody. In fact, Deontay Wilder himself said that he thinks the whole sport is doping. That's what he said. I got the article saved to my to whatever, when you have different browsers open in your phone, because I wanted to talk about that it's one thing for the fans to be like, yeah, I think everybody's doping, but a fighter saying it, that's different. And if Wilder's saying, yo, I think everybody's doping, yeah, I feel inclined to agree, because you might have seen more than I did. I'm on the outside looking in, and I look at the abundance of cases where somebody tests positive for something. Anybody from Conor Ben to Zolani Tete, he tested positive for something. Why we acting like we don't know no better? Because it's convenient, because it suits our narrative. See, the reason that some people might be annoyed with Shawn Zito is they feel like he's making excuses. I've seen that sentiment expressed. They're like, don't start up with the doping shit, bro, because you want Fulton to win, or because you want an excuse for Fulton. Don't start up with that shit, bro. That's how some people are taking it, you know? In Roseau, we have a club that's men only. 3 left in England. We play snooker, pool, cards, and our wives aren't allowed in. Maxie knows the club. He's a good egg. Bandit. Shout out to Maxie Hughes. Best wishes this weekend. Do your thing, bro. Win, lose, or draw. Do your thing. Put on a show. You know? Because that's another thing in the sport of boxing. You could lose, but your stock could go up. Talk about it all the time that unbeaten records are overrated. In the greater scheme of things, it's about being entertaining. You can have a loss. You can have 2 losses, 3 losses, 4 losses. If you're a fighter that the audience knows, yo, old girl gonna put on a show, old boy gonna put on a show, they're gonna watch, period. They're gonna watch. And that's what it's really all about. Prize fighting, not unbeaten record fighting. Prize fighting. You know what I mean? Shout out to the Derek Chisoras of the world, the Reggie Stricklands of the world that help bring the prospects along. You feel me? Everybody got their role to play. So do we. Shout out to Karate Body. Hey, Jules, do you bet on any of these fights? You know that I don't use any of the betting sites. I'm going to have to talk to Eson. Shout out to my man Eson with the Nissan. Pulling all the fine bitches in Rhode Island. I could probably have him place a bet for me. I don't actually use a betting site. I don't actually use one. But I could. I could. And I'll look into that. I'll definitely look into that. You know? It's not about unbeaten records, man. It really isn't. Like, it's cool if you could do that. You know, that's great. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not turning my nose up at it. I'm just saying that the vast majority of fighters will not leave this sport with an unbeaten record. So don't focus too much on that. And it's understandable how losses can affect a fighter's career, but don't let that affect your fighting spirit. Because as easily as you could lose a fight in your very next fight, as easily as that, that's just as easy as you could win one. You're always one fight away from losing, one fight away from winning. You're always one fight away from looking the best you've ever looked, one fight away from looking the worst you've ever looked. It's up to you how you want to look, how you want to be. You know? It's real shit out here, yo. Real motherfucking spill out here, yo. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Reporting. But people are really mad at Shawn Zito because they feel as if he's trying to shade Inoue. That maybe, I don't know, and you know, it could be one of those things to where, you know, you went up to him and you were really excited because you heard about him and you was fanboying, and maybe he wasn't feeling too social that day, you know? Maybe he wasn't feeling too social. Maybe he ain't feel like talking to nobody that day. And, you know, maybe Shawn had a bad experience with that guy. I ain't gonna hold him. He's entitled to his opinion. But a lot of people are angry about that. I saw them. You know, they're having an adverse reaction to that. I can only tell you what I think. And if you want to know what I think, and you're here, so I'll assume that you do. Shit, I hit the wrong button. I can only tell you what I think, and if you want to know what I think, and you're here, so I'll assume that you do. I'm not worried about people doping in the sport anymore, because I think everybody's doping. To some degree, I think everybody is doing something. It's too widespread. When high-profile people like a Canelo, like a Fury, when they getting popped for shit, anybody from Canelo to Fury to Povetkin to White to Jarrell Miller, it's widespread, man. It's all over the place. And you would have to be naive, like you would have to be looking at the sport through rose-tinted lenses to still be like, oh, I think he's doping. Oh, he's doping? I think the whole fucking sport is doping. And? You know what I'm saying? Sophia, what it do? Sophia in the building. Shout out to Sophia. Sophia! Shout out to Cesar Torres. My man Smokey over there in Liverpool. Aye! Got this Beterbiev thing going on. You know, that team of suckers. I don't got no love for them. We'll see what they decide to do. The latest is that they're in talks to fight Jaime Munguia, according to Oscar. That is according to Oscar, though. Oscar be bugging out, you know? His own fighter basically got a restraining order against him. He not allowed to talk to his own fighter. That's crazy. What the fuck did you do? That he lawyered up like, yo, don't talk to me, man. Talk to my lawyer. Sorry, my man Smokey in Leeds with the weeds. Hey! You know what I'm saying? Luisito, Luis G, que lo que manín. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's what they saying, Easy. They saying he made 30 M's. I could believe it. The shit sold, man. That shit sold. JV fight, man. The Snapchat fight. The Instagram filter fight, bro. That shit sold, man. Shout out to my man Edwin Castillo. Que lo que manín. The issue is, he's already discredited Inoue. Saludos, que lo que es manín, ya tú sabes. ¿Tú sabes lo que es? Para mí, él está enfojonado porque él... You know when they say don't meet your heroes? Never meet your heroes, never meet your idols. A lo mejor, he met him, le quería hacerle una pregunta, pero Inoue, quién sabe? He probably had a bad flight, maybe he was jet lagged, or maybe he thought he was a weirdo. Y no le quería darle tiempo, no le quería darle time of day. Puede ser una cosa así, que tiene rencor. You know? He's got an axe to grind. That shit don't matter to me anyway, man. Fulton ain't worried about that shit. I look at the fighter, right? Hold on, I think somebody at the door. Somebody that don't want to use their keys and shit. Give me a sec. Che, yo, you know, he probably was really excited when he met him, and you know, maybe he knew he just wasn't feeling good that day, and he just didn't feel like talking to nobody. But you know, maybe Shawn is taking it personal. Could be like that. Could be like that. You know, it's a lot of butt hurt in the sport of boxing. It's a lot of butt hurt. You know. Look at how angry Rick Merrigan was that Regis didn't go to Top Rank. You'd have thought that dude ran over his cat. He was mad. He wouldn't be quiet about that shit. He was mad. Telling Regis, yo, you gotta come over here. Just for him to end up leaving. That's crazy. What are those? Man, these joints look like some old Captain Americas. I'll wear them. But yeah, yo, you gotta cut this thing open for me to even do that, because they got straps on them. But yeah, you know, I'm not worried about that shit. It's like when the thing with Conor Ben happened, right? Y'all remember when the thing with Conor Ben happened? Eubank wasn't worried about that shit. He didn't care. And that communicates a lot to me that, like, oh, so he could be on pads and he could get caught, but you still will fight him. It's a lot of inferences you can make when you see that. They're like, oh, well, maybe his pets don't bother you because you got pets of your own. You know what I mean? Very simple. Very simple. Eubank was still willing to fight him. Clomiphene and all. He was still willing to fight him. So what does that tell you? You know what I mean? When Ryan Martin tested positive for, I think it was anabolic steroid or something, right? You ain't see Josh Taylor bugging out about that shit. You didn't see him say nothing about that shit. Yo, this shit feel like, I'm gonna have to tighten this shit, but it feel weird. Alright. Huh? Give me a second. And yeah, yo, you know, Conor Ben tested positive for clomiphene. Did it bother Chris Eubank? When Oscar Valdez tested positive for, I forgot what it was, Robson Conceição was still willing to fight. He wasn't worried about that shit. He was still willing to fight. So when I think about that, I'm like, so hold up. You an athlete, you doing your thing, you gotta train, you gotta make weight, and you find out that the other guy is on some shit, and you don't bug out, you don't flip out, you still willing to fight. Why is that? Well, it's a number of reasons. Obviously, you don't want a whole camp to go to waste, obviously, right? But also, you got your own shit you doing, and you know it. He got his shit he doing, you got your shit you doing. Everybody know. Everybody don't say nothing, but everybody know. Swap Robson Conceição didn't bug out. That's why Chris Eubank didn't bug out, you know? He didn't bug out. Like, oh, Conor, you fucking Philistine. He didn't bug out. So when you tell me I think Inoue is on something, I'm like, I think everybody's on something. I think Errol is on something. Do I think he's been making 154 all these years without assistance? Ha 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 ha. You know what I mean? If you want to be naive by yourself. Bother me with that shit. I think everybody's on something. That's why I don't worry about that shit anymore. You know? I just think it's convenient. People bring it up when it's convenient. You know what I mean? If you out here rooting for Tyson Fury, or you was out here rooting for Roy, right? You a big Holyfield fan, right? Right? Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Like James Toney? Me too. Stop complaining about pads then, man. Everybody's on them. I'm on them. I'm on Osterin. Real shit out here. Garcia, que lo que manín. I literally made that beat. I literally made it. That's one of the few beats that I made that I was able to salvage after my hard drive died. I literally made that. That's why it's so Ring IQ, because Ring IQ made it. It's real shit out here, yo. I'm not worried about it. I don't think any of us should be. Cool boy Steph is cooling. He ain't about to call off the fight, right? He ain't worried about it. So why are you? You know what I'm saying? Stop worrying about that shit. It's not that big a deal. Osterin can't teach you how to box. You crazy? What you think? That if you take TRT, you gonna get a better jab? You gonna know how to throw a jab because you took some TRT? If you take meldonium, that's gonna teach you how to slip punches? Is that what that's gonna do? I mean, what you think? You surely mean Evan Fields, not Evander. You look like you about to do aerobics. It looks nice. Yeah, you know what I mean? It's real shit out here, man. Motherfucker splitting hairs about that. He gonna get that bread. That's what I'm saying. He ain't worried about none of that shit. Not worried about that shit. I'm on super soldier serum. Word, I'm on the shit Bane on. I'm on that shit. If I hit a button in my elbow, real shit. I'm worried about that shit. Motherfucker just bringing that shit up because he nervous and shit. It could be that. He's scared. You know what I mean? Worried about that shit. I'm on steroids right now. I can't deadlift without it. Shit, me neither. I'm on anabolic steroids. Real shit, yo. On that venom. Open up the chat to the panel. You know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers just gotta stop complaining and enjoying shit. If you spend time on boxing Twitter, most of what you gonna see is people complaining. That's most of what you gonna see. If you spend too much time online in general, most of what you gonna see is people complaining. That's most of what you gonna see. I ain't worried about that shit. I'm gonna watch that fight. I am gonna get up early. I am gonna go live, and I am gonna watch that motherfucker fight. Steroids or no steroids. Care about that shit. Who seen that Red Fox skit where Red was like, shit, I want him to use more steroids. More. I want to see a motherfucker hit a motherfucker so hard he explode in the confetti. Shit.
I mean, it's a baseless accusation. Say what you will. It's baseless.
No, it is, but I choose to be devil's advocate because I feel like it takes a certain level of naivety to, oh, well, let's bring up that Inoue, but you're ignoring the bigger picture that in the greater scheme of things, can't you tell that probably everybody is on something? Everybody. At the highest levels and the lowest levels.
In every sport.
Every sport, bro. Every sport. Remember, it was Mia St. John right around the time that Canelo got caught. She said that she knew people in the sport who were competing who never got caught. And they were using, but they never got caught. So, what the fuck? I'm worried about that shit.
Well, if you remember back in 2014, the entire Russian committee team, Olympic team, got caught positive for steroids.
Yeah. And they're acting like Russians are the only ones using steroids. And I'm like, that's like, people need to grow up. Like, grow up.
Well,
like,
you know the phrase, it's only cheating unless you get caught.
There's only one phrase I know, bro, and that's if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
Hey, man. God bless Lance Armstrong on everything.
All right. In all seriousness, I just think that I think it's a maturity thing, to be completely honest. I do look at it as a maturity thing because if you're paying attention at every single level of the sport, there is evidence of doping at the domestic level, the regional level, the world level. The most high-profile stars in the sport, at least two of them, have tested positive for a banned substance. So you're either just gonna grow the fuck up and accept it, or you can be childish about it.
Or you could tell the full story, and even though he complained, he still gave the blood sample. You could tell the full story.
Yeah.
Well, he's trying to cast an air of suspicion. Devontae, what do you think about that shit?
Well, I think it's stupid. I don't know what his problem is with him, but it just seems like to me every time a big fight is happening with an American fighter, a black American fighter, to be quite honest with you, it's always something, you know. You got to go ahead.
No, you right. I don't like I don't want to say, oh, you know what I mean? Because it's more like, no, it's just in a very general sense. I see it. You know what I mean? In a very general sense. Like it's not even one way that personality type that feels the need to make excuses. Like, look, they do it with Fury. I was saying months ago, this man is not going to fight Usyk, you know, and you had guys preemptively making excuses because what it really is a desire to make excuses. That I'm like, yo, this dude is not going to fight Usyk. If you can't see that, I don't know what the fuck to tell you. And you got guys copping pleas and saying this. It's like, nah, son. Like, I don't know why you making excuses. It's not going to make it better. It's not going to change nothing. So just, you know.
Well, I was listening to Khaled's boxing earlier, and he said some things like the Charlo brothers, the way they test. Nobody says anything about them. You know, you brought up Errol Spence. Nobody says anything how he's making weight. These guys are essentially, to me, weight. They make the weight, but they're weight bullies, to be, you know, in my opinion.
Which is a hot topic, Devontae. It's a hot topic that at what point is it crossing a line, and at what point is it? It's to me, I look at Benavidez, and it's like, because I talked to, shout out to Rachel, shout out to Nonito. We had a long conversation about this. They made some great points that, you know, if you're a guy who has to cut a lot of weight to make a weight, it's not really an advantage because you're going to leave something behind. And every time you get hit, you're going to get hurt. Everything is going to hurt because you left something in the gym. Myself, I kind of feel like, yeah, guys do it and they get away with it for a while, and then it catches up. If like what happened to Jarrett Hurd in the Julian Williams fight, because we all know Julian don't hit, like, not knocking him, but he was never a dude that he'll hit a guy and a guy gonna crumble. When he hit Jarrett Hurd, he fell apart. He fell apart, and this is a dude that's known to be able to take a punch, that's known to have a chin, and all of a sudden, all of that was gone. I look at that as an example.
But we'll look at Garrett when he went to 160. When he went to 160, he couldn't do nothing. You know, I just think all these guys are like Jermall Charlo. He gonna find out when he go to 168. You're actually fighting somebody your size now. You know, you ain't fighting little Castaño. You ain't fighting, you know, all these little 154 pounders. Even though I think he would have lost to Tim Tszyu, but you know.
Well, look, I did a video about this, guys, and you know, it's weird, but it's almost like Tim would have been better off fighting Jermall than what's out there, because what's out there now, we got a good American fighter in Charles Conwell. Gotta be careful.
Also, Jules, he's been actually fighting. He hasn't been like on the couch. He fought twice last year, so it's not like he's an inactive dude. He's just a very low key fighting on pro box looking dude.
No, because remember, bro. We in what, July, right? That's 7 months. We 7 months into this year. I didn't hear nothing about Charles. I knew he fought last year, but that we 7 months into this year, and there was like no news, no update, no tentative fight, no direction, nothing. You know, that yeah, like you kind of like kind of felt like the earth swallowed you up. But the shit is, look. Tim Tszyu is number one right now. Well, not even. He's WBO interim. Then you got Josh Kelly. Now, he'll beat the shit out of Josh Kelly. I'm confident of that. But what if Josh don't want to fight? Then what?
You wait for Crawford Spence, the winner of Crawford Spence. Call them out. I think that's a big fight that nobody's mentioning. I think Crawford's going to win.
I said that. I've been said that. I don't know if you caught it. That
yeah.
I feel if Crawford knock out Spence, there ain't gonna be no rematch. That's one.
Right.
And he could use his WBO super champion status to move up and fight Tim.
Exactly. And if you beat Crawford or Spence coming up, I think that's a bigger win than fighting Jermall. I mean, in my opinion.
But is it a more winnable fight? See, my thing was, look, when they first started talking about that fight, I definitely had Mel winning the fight when they first started talking about it. The problem with that shit is that was over a year ago. As time passed, I started feeling like, nah, see, Tim gonna end up beating you because you've been out too long. There's no, I mean, they could say that he's injured. I don't believe he was injured, personally. I don't believe that, honestly. It's like, what I think about that fight, you know what it is? I don't think for a second that Jermall was afraid of him, because Jermall resume, that's not the resume of a person that is afraid, right? He actually has a really good resume at 154. But what I do think happened is they didn't think that Tim would last this long. That when they brought him over to Minneapolis at the Armory for Gachet, they thought, yo, Gachet gonna wrap him up. It's just another Australian dude, bro. Them dude, you know, like that's their mentality that this dude is nothing, bro. We gonna bring him over here.
That's
Terrell gonna beat him.
Yeah, that's a casual comment because I mean, you know his last name, right? I mean, you know where his gene line is, right?
But I mean, I think they felt that when, yo, you know what we gonna do? We gonna sign him, right? We gonna sign him. We gonna tell him what we gotta tell him. We gonna get him a voluntary in America to make his American debut with Terrell Gachet. And Terrell got a good amateur background anyway. We're going to get Terrell. We're going to get him to fight Terrell because he's not used to seeing that. And then Terrell will beat him. And then when Terrell beat him, oh, well, the interim is in-house. So we good, if we do that. They did not anticipate that Tim would win. So then Tim wins. Remember that they've been wanted to do the Harrison fight. They've been wanted to do that. They've been offered him to fight. At first, Tony didn't want to go to Australia. Not at first. When time passes, he ends up going to Australia. I feel like, oh, that was their last hope. Like, hey, yo, Tony, go down there, whoop his ass, bring that back, so we can control this board. And it didn't work out.
So, do you think Tim is a better fighter than Castaño?
Right. Like, see, this is the thing. At their very best, right? Castaño could give him problems. I could see Tim beating him. But it's not easy. Now, if they was gonna fight right now, I definitely go Tim Tszyu to win. Why? Castaño ain't fought since he got knocked out.
Right.
Since he got knocked. Now, if he was fighting and doing his thing and he was more busy, then I would say, okay, this is a closer fight. And the reason I would still lean towards Tim is because Castaño throws the throw. There's two different types of pressure fighters. Tim Pressure is more educated than Castaño's. Castaño just want to get in front of you and let him go. That's why Jermall was able to catch his ass.
Tim is tactical.
Yeah. Exactly.
No, I kind of disagree with that because I think the only reason why he fought like that against Jermall in the second fight is because he saw the first fight. He was like, nah, I won this.
Nah, bro, that's how he always fight, bro.
If you look at the first fight and the second fight, I feel like Castaño was much more measured than what he was throwing. Like in the second fight, he was watching.
I gotta agree with him on that one because on that first fight, I think he was a little more composed and he picked his shots a little better. Like you're saying, there's pressure fighting intelligent, and then there's pressure fighting just throwing blows. And I thought he won that first fight with Jermall because of what the other guest was talking about. He was more measured, I think. But that's just that one fight.
Compared to. Remember, we're comparing two pressure guys, right? Tim and Brian are both pressure guys. They both are. But Tim does more punch picking. You can see it, that he does more punch picking. It's not just trying to hit you with whatever. If you watch Castaño versus Lara, if you watch Castaño versus Teixeira, he's a combination puncher. He just wants to get in front of you and let him go. Tim is actually more measured. He don't just throw to be throwing and be throwing bullshit, right? So because of that, I feel like, nah, you know what? Brian gonna end up walking into some shit. The thing is that Brian is Argentinian. Those motherfuckers tough. You gonna have to, Jermall had to fuck him up before he finally he really had to beat the shit out of him before he could finally put him down. That's what it takes with them Argentinian fighters, man, because they made out of some different shit. I do favor Tim, realistically, based on the circumstances as they are now. If they were to fight, not that they are, but if they were, I would favor Tim for two reasons. I think he has better shot selection, and I think Brian is struggling to make the weight. Brian is not tall, he's short, but he real burly, he real stocky. And after that amount of time, if you turn around and tell me, oh, you know who Tim gonna fight? He about to fight Brian. All right, so Brian, you about to get knocked out. Because you ain't fought in over a year. And you ain't made this weight in over a year. And you coming off a knockout loss. So.
I'm really happy you emphasized that point. I've been seeing a little bit too many people thinking that you can sit out for years and then come back sharp. That's crazy.
They always use the exceptions to the rule, like Floyd, that Floyd sat out, but he came back and fought Marquez, or that Sugar sat out for 3 years, but he came back and fought Marvin. Yeah, everybody ain't Floyd, and everybody ain't Sugar.
Yeah, look at Josh Taylor. I mean, he was out over. I mean, it wasn't his fault because of the counterall stuff that went on, but look at Josh Taylor. Loma, when he fought Teofimo, he was coming off a year layoff. These guys coming off these year layoffs, man, it don't look good. The whole PBC stable is coming off a year. Jermall,
the whole stable is, bro. The whole stable.
Exactly.
Dude,
even Fulton.
What's it called? Is he?
No,
yeah.
Look. Maul is coming off for 2 years. Mel is coming off a year. Spence is coming off a year. Thurman's coming off a year. Uga's coming off a year. Yo, it's bananas out here. Wilder ain't fought yet. If he don't fight this whole summer, when he go fight AJ, that's a year.
Hey, Jules, dude.
It's more than a year.
Dude, I'm specifically for Jermall, dude, they gotta really find the worst cherry pick of worst cherry picks. Because you put him in there with even a semi-bad fighter, I could see him get knocked out because he's been on his ass for 2 years.
I don't know listen, I don't really know what they're gonna do with him, because the longer this plays out, the more dangerous it becomes for him.
Dude, seriously, who are you gonna fight? Like Montiel put you on, was like made you look human. So who are you gonna put after 2 years off?
Bro, like to me, any fighter with any remnants of ambition is a credible threat to Jermall. He's not even in the right headspace, When he was in that video, I don't know what he was on. The drugs that these kids use these days they're not the ones that we all grew up with. We grew up with coke, heroin, weed, maybe some hashish.
He's a 35-year-old man. He ain't no kid.
I'm just saying that I don't know what that was. I don't recognize the high that he have. I don't know if you saw is that like perks or something? Like I don't know.
Like he was probably on opioids or something. He looked kind of drowsy.
He's 35.
Who knows? Yeah, no, he's not 30. He's 33. He's 33. Yeah. Canelo's 32.
Like Andrade.
Charlo's are 33.
He's wasting his prime away, just like Andrade is.
I mean, they all did. If you think about Keith Thurman, I did a video on Keith Thurman. Understand this. When he fought Shawn Porter, he only had one fight that year. When he fought Danny, he only had one fight that year. Then he sat out for 2 years. He come back. He looked like poo-poo with Josecito, right? Loses to Manny. All right, I'm going for another 2 years.
You know what? I have this theory that those guys are the result or the byproduct of the wanting to maintain the Floyd O in their head so much that when they lost it, they just couldn't come back from that. Yeah. Or they played it too safe, and only fought once a year to be well preserved for that money fighter. I don't know. All I know is that I hope there's a new generation of fighters that kind of let go of that, and handlers.
Floyd was able to do what he did, and I don't want to make this a Floyd show, but it's very simple. When Floyd was campaigning, there were other stars, alternatives that were lucrative alternatives. You had Juan Manuel Marquez, Miguel Cotto. You had guys that you can fight them and you can make a lot of money. So it's not like, in other words, you can't use the exception to the rule and apply it to the majority, that the majority of fighters are not going to leave this sport with an unbeaten record. So forget that. You're gonna lose. There is a high probability that you're gonna lose. So what you really want is to lose good, lose big. Like, yeah, I lost, but I was fucking that motherfucker up. Or I was making that motherfucker work, because that's what's going to get you more fights. That's what's going to get you more opportunities. Not this perception of perfection. That shit is like, nah, fam. Guys like Thurman that got that in their brain, yo, it's a wrap, bro.
Well, look at the top. Look at the top 2 paid fighters in boxing. Are they undefeated? No.
No, they are not.
So
let me shout out to my man Edwin. I think I missed the super chat. Let me collect these 2 yamps. I think I missed the super chat. Let me go back up. But yeah, like, it's not about unbeaten records. It's really about putting on a show, because what you really want is to endear yourself to the people that pay. That's what it's all about. You could fuck around, had 30 losses. As long as you could put 5,000 asses and 5,000 seats, it really don't matter. You know what I mean? Shit.
Well, that's what happens when your competition is good. That's one thing Top Rank is good at, is matching their guys tough, so they're used to that. You know, you can build stars and stuff off of that.
That's true.
I mean, there's also niches where you have your cult following, like the not Babinski, fucking Bobic, and then you have the what do you call his name again, Chisora. Like, you can have losses in the double digits, but if you have that niche of fans that know that you'll come out and just to fight,
that you're gonna show out, because that's what it really, like. Look, you can have 3. The era that we grew up in, those of us that are in our mid-30s or 40s, a guy having a couple of losses is tell-to-mate. Like, well, yeah, there's gonna be fucking losses, because he fucking fought people. You win some, you lose some, but you still watch. You know what I mean? So Edwin Castillo says, I do agree that everyone's probably on something, but fight hype is biased. Can you fill me in on the time Canelo sent Beterbiev an offer? I heard about that rumor, but this is the thing. I heard that it wasn't a serious inquiry. It was just a name that was mentioned. That's what I remember about that. That rumor is from, I want to say 2 years ago, but it's not like they went into talks, and it wasn't like that. I remember it being that the name was brought forth. That's what I remember. But come on. If Canelo wanted Beterbiev, he would have fucking got him. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on. You know, I like Canelo too, but come on. If he wanted Artur, he would have fucking got him.
Same with David.
Jules,
if David wanted him, he would probably get him too, but he's not doing that.
Jules, I know when people kind of like push past this, but like on the whole, like, fight hype thing, and honestly, I'm thinking about the reaction of everyone. I don't think it's like people overall arms up about Peds. I think, and I was watching a Blue Collar TV Sports video, in the comment section, someone said it perfectly. It's people having an issue that Fulton's even going to Japan. Like, everybody is so upset. They think he's getting robbed. They think Inoue's going to be favorite there, that, things are going to be in his favor. And I'm like, yeah, the same way that it's in the Americans' favor every single time a guy come from overseas got to come over here. But because it's an American coming over there, they all clutching their pearls and shit.
Hey, Reyes, I would also add on to one fact though. Like, look at the promotion going on over there. Like, there's billboards, there's things coming out of the fight. Over here.
Listen, you couldn't, if you did that fight here, it wouldn't be worth anywhere near as Fulton stands to make close to $3 million. That's an insane. People don't understand that super bantamweights don't get purses like that. Even champions. That if Fulton were here and he were having a title defense, he's probably looking at a purse of a few hundred thou, you know. But he's getting close to 3 mil over there. Big promotion. You seen the pictures. Billboards everywhere. The fans mobbed him. The media mobbed him. He's signing autographs. He's fucking Julio Iglesias right now. That's what you want for a fight. That's what you want. Like, I'm Stephen Fulton. I came here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. I'm all out of bubblegum. I support him. Whatever happens. Why? It's not about winning or losing. Do your thing, bro. Make a show of it. Because if you make a show of it, it won't matter who won. You're going to come back to America and motherfuckers going to rock with you. Real motherfuckers going to rock with you. Fake motherfucker, oh, well, he lost, so we got to disown it. But, all right, bro.
I just
that was
want
a funny thing too, man, because like there was a comment section under the video of like people mobbing him or whatever, and the first thing I saw, because a guy made fun of it, it was like, bro, I bet you he don't even get love like this in his hometown. And I saw a decent amount of people lie and pretend that he did when it was public knowledge that Fulton said, I literally don't get any love from Philly.
I did a video on that, literally for that reason, that Stephen Fulton said he doesn't get mobbed and he don't get that love back home. That's what makes this right. And it's just, you know what this shit is? Look, man, the lens they looking at this through, which y'all know I get uncomfortable because this ain't that kind of channel. But they looking at it as some like, oh, us versus them. This is boxing, bro. There is no us. You ain't fighting, all right? And Fulton ain't fighting for you. Fulton is fighting for Fulton. Fulton is fighting for his legacy and his bank account, not you and your tribalism. But when you look at boxing through that lens, it's like, you know, like you gonna feel like, look, man. Hector Garcia got knocked the fuck. Well, he not really, but he lost, right? Do you think I give a shit? I'm Dominican. I don't care. Edwin Rosario, the banana, he got knocked the fuck out. I'm Dominican. I don't care.
I think people just have one misconception, and it's the fact that they think boxing is big in America when it's really not.
It used to be, but you damn right about that.
Not anymore.
This ain't the 70s and the 80s.
You know, like their thing is what motivates that toxicity is tribalism behind ethnic or racial pride, right? I don't give a shit. When Crawford went in there with Felix Diaz, who you think I was rooting for?
Crawford.
I don't give a fuck about Felix Diaz. Oh, we got this. I don't care, bro. I'm here. Look, God bless my people. Well, that's great. But I'm here to watch Terrence fuck you up because you've been talking shit. I remember that whole build. He's talking a lot of shit. Like, all right, bro, you want to fight? Let's fight. You can't get no fights over there on PBC Island? I got you, bro. Come here. Let's fight.
You know, I got a good example of that. I was watching the Wood and Lara rematch, and I was having the barbecue at my house at the time, and people were asking me, hey, so you're going for the Mexican guy, right? And I go, man, that motherfucker got lucky in the first fight, all right? The other dude was outboxing him, and I'm going to tell you right now, that skinny British dude right now, he's going to outbox the shit out of this dude. He's like, but wouldn't you go for it? Like, no, I'm not, okay, listen, I don't care. I don't care. It's all about what are you going to pick the NFL team with the most, it's so stupid. People got to get over this shit.
Like sometimes there have been rare instances in recent memory where I was like, okay, fuck it, very rarely. But most of the time I just go for the fighter that I like, irrespective of why. Like I just go, all right, like this guy's going to win. I like him to win. I think he's going to win. I don't give a shit about what flag he flies. Like you got the De Los Santos kid, right? Oh, I hope you get that Shakur fight. Because Shakur and that kid is Crawford and Diaz. It's that all out. You talking that shit. You're going to fuck around and get that fight. And he's going to fuck you up. And I'm going to watch him fuck you up. And I want to watch him fuck you up. He's talking a lot of shit. Bro, calm down. You beat Rayo. Calm down, bro, all right? Shakur is not Rayo. He will fuck you up.
At least he calling him out, though. Nobody really want to fight Shakur right now.
Yeah, but I feel like he doing a dog behind the fence thing. Like, yeah, you talking hot shit. He talking that hot shit, but you at the PBC.
Right. I see.
So
he doing a dog behind the fence thing. Like, lift that fence, yo. Send him. Y'all not using him for. Send him. Shakur need a fight. I hope he get it. Talking that shit. Just like Felix was talking that shit. You're going to regret that shit.
So do you think the Fulton and Inoue fight go the distance? I know you ain't going to do your prediction yet. This week out. Do you think it go the distance?
I'm not going to say yet because that's like a prediction. I want to watch some more fights. Oh, I'm excited about that fight. I love that fight. Love that fight. It's a good look. Fulton's a good fucking fighter, man.
It's the best fight
I
of the
hate
week.
I hate the toxicity of the boxing community because it's like, yo, this is a time for celebration. Fulton is not no bitch. Celebrate him. Don't be toxic. Celebrate him. You should celebrate. I ain't no bitch. I'm not scared to go to Japan, bro. He a monster. I'm not scared of no monster, bro. I'm not. We gonna get down in the land of the rising sun. We about to get down.
And that
That's
bitch
dope.
shit is the kind. I'm sorry, but that bitch shit is the kind of stuff that turns people away from that kind of thing.
That's a movie, bro. That's a movie. Like it's a beautiful thing. And if you give into the YTBC too much, or if you give into the Twitter boxing community, that community, you don't get to enjoy this shit for how dope it is. They're like, nah, you like, I ain't no bitch. Man, fuck a Figueroa rematch. Let's go. That's fucking awesome, bro. That's dope. But they don't look at it through that lens. They look at it as some it's like, all right, dog, just whatever, bro. Whatever you got going on, bro. I don't look at it that way, but do what you do.
Hey, I'll tell you what though. If Inoue wins, you'll see how many Tapales fans sprout overnight.
Oh,
that would be fucking hilarious.
But listen, don't sleep on. The other thing is, don't sleep on that man. That man was.
I ain't sleeping on no one.
It.
It's boxing, but I'm just gonna say this: like, if Fulton loses and like he gets knocked out, you'll see how many Tapales fans sprout up in the span of 15 minutes.
Oh no, they gonna come out the woodworks, bro. They're gonna be falling out the sky. But look, I think everybody, and Tapales is gonna be there. By the way, he said he's gonna be ringside for that fight. Shout out to Drew, wherever you are. He's gonna be ringside. Well, he's gonna be at the fight. He said he's gonna be ringside for the fight. I think everybody should go to their DAZN. If you have DAZN, go to DAZN, watch Tapales versus Akhmadaliev again. That dude got some shit. Got some shit.
I'm sorry to tell you this, Jules, but I'm going to say what I said last time. The man that struggled with the Chilean was not that good, bro.
It's not that, bro. It's that this dude is slick, low key. He's a super bantamweight. He got experience, and you ain't got to do MJ like that, bro. You got to do it.
It's true though.
You ain't got to do MJ like.
Do you even know what that dude is doing right now? Not MJ, the Chilean guy, bro.
Well, seeing as he's relatively recently fought, I bet you he's just waiting for the winner of Inoue versus Fulton.
It's those guys.
Not him.
He talking about the little Chilean dude that he was mad little and stubborn, but it's those people with awkward styles that will make you look bad. That is, it don't be the flying fresh with the freshest jab that he get the hand back, he slip, it'll be the dude that fight like fuck it. That dude's style is cold. Fuck it. If you hit him, fuck it. He's gonna try to hit you. He's just gonna keep trying to hit you. So it's the guys like that that'll make you look bad. You know what I mean?
Julius,
don't forget. For all the shit you saying about MJ, he beat Danny Roman and he only had like 5 fights when he did it. So he can't be that bad.
I mean, shit, doesn't MJ only have like 11 fights in total or some crap?
Yeah, he was just too inactive. He was just too inactive.
That's point, though.
Yeah, that's what it was. That's
so
what
you're saying he wasn't experienced enough?
No. I'm just saying, like, sorry,
not inexperienced, but more like it's okay. He lost. Do I think he's a bad fighter? Look, this is what I think. If you got him a Tapales rematch, he would win. Just fuck shit out of luck that he's not getting a rematch because Matchroom wanted one. But that I don't think he's MJ is not a bad fighter. He's not a bad fighter.
I don't think he's bad. I just don't think he's like Inoue level.
Oh, I mean, a lot of guys ain't Inoue level.
But do you think Inoue is going to eventually go to featherweight sometime?
You better not if he don't want to get the shit beat out of him. If he don't want to get the shit
in a few years, you don't think he's not going to do that?
He don't have the frame. He does not have the frame for featherweight at all. He don't have the frame. Super bantam is the ceiling. Things are gonna get hard now, gentlemen. Pause. But this is this. Whoa.
Hey, distance, man.
I'm just saying that Inoue is not a big guy, but super bantam, he can fill out at that weight. He can fill out at that weight and be effective at that weight. Now, feather, bro, do you want to get knocked out? Because that's what's gonna happen.
Yeah, look, all I know is MJ has one solid eyebrow, and that alone is enough to make him a terrifying fighter. He's not like Neary. Neary has like Moses parting the Red Sea. on his eyebrows.
He has like a little canal, but he's got like a little Panama Canal right there. But MJ, that is all eyebrow. That is all Uzbekistan. So y'all seen Top Rank signed Jalalov, Bakadir Jalalov. That's a good signing.
I was just thinking, Uzbekistan. You brought him up. I was thinking, oh, what about Jalalov and his style?
And he's a motherfucker. Like, I feel like Todd, if you listening, Todd do both. Shout out to you. Look, it's gonna be hard to sell Americans a Uzbek. So what you have to do is you got to keep him busy. That means this man need to fight 4 times a year, and you need to regularly show people how he fuck people up. That's what you need to show people. That show him fucking people up, and let him grow that eyebrow. Make him as unique and scary looking as possible, because you could sell a monster. You can't sell a nice guy that could box. You could sell a monster. Had that motherfucker growing hair out of everything, B. Just hair on his boxing gloves, right?
Top Rank really, they've invested a lot
like
in those
Uzbek
prospects.
Textile
Like
by the end of the day.
Anderson, Jalalov. They invested a
Well,
lot.
what they could do is put him on Anderson, because Anderson is fighting a lot. Put him on his undercards.
That's where he gonna be at. He gonna make his Top Rank debut on Anderson versus Rudenko. And look, Top Rank got some hitters. They got Anderson. They got Richard Tavares. They got Aslanbek Makhmudov, big body, little head guy, right? The Lion.
The Rock'em Sock'em robot.
That dude don't even look fucking human. And they got Cyclops eyebrow, Bakadir Jot. Like, they got some real. They got FA, and look, man, FA is serviceable. I know that he's flawed. It's all right. You could be flawed and be serviceable. You know, I could go for Anderson versus FA down the line, or Torres versus FA. It's a good fight. Or FA versus Makhmudov.
Yep.
Well,
exactly.
You know Jalalov's nickname, don't you? His nickname's the Big Uzbek. That's literally his nickname.
Yeah, that's Big Uzbek. That they ain't even try to come up with some shit for him. Let's just call him the Big Uzbek.
Sometimes the simple things in life.
The little things, man. It's the simple things, man. For real. But that's the fuck he is. He big guy, got a lot of hair, unibrow. It's real out here. He could fight, you know. He reminds me of LeBron in the sense that, you know how Braun is real big, but he not lanky like Kevin Garnett. It's all distributed evenly, all the weight. It's distributed evenly. So even though he's a very big guy, everything is solid. That's Bakadir. Bakadir is like 6'6" around there, but he ain't gangly or skinny or nothing like that. Like, he's just a big solid motherfucker. Pause. But y'all know what I mean.
Nah, he's lean, man. He's not fat like
at all.
He's lean, man.
Mm-hmm. He's a southpaw.
Yeah, fuck people up. And you got a guy, obviously there's a language barrier. People are not going to take to him right away. So you got to kind of goofy him up, you know. Tell him, hey, grow that unibrow. Keep growing that shit. Yeah, just keep growing that shit. And then he'll be the unibrow, the unibomber. Because, you know, he's got the unibrow, but
he'll become the colossal Uzbek.
The Colossus. Because if nothing else, activity and highlight reel knockouts can make almost anybody. One thing that has held Artur back, because people often ask about Artur, well, he's such a great knockout artist, and he knocks everybody out, and he's fun to watch. Why isn't he more well-known? One thing that stifled his career was inactivity. He didn't fight that often. Things are only really picking up now, because I think last year he only fought once.
Well, people didn't pay attention to 175, but if you remember, he's had a belt since 2018.
Bro.
2017. No, 2018. 2017.
Motherfucker been a champion for 5 years, bro.
That's what I'm saying. That Bivol fight could have been happening a long time ago.
Yeah, that's the thing that's frustrating. He should have called out. They should have called out each other a while ago. Those two guys.
Well, this is what I'm
for a while too.
Bivol's been. Look, I'm not trying to play sides. I can only tell you what I saw and what I read. Bivol been trying to get this fight. He even went as far as trying to get World of Boxing. That's a Russian promotional outfit. This is before the crisis over there started. He tried to get World of Boxing involved. He said, I went to Top Rank. They said they're not interested. Bob Arum then comes out a week later. His article says, Bob Arum pours cold water on a fight. He's saying that Bivol is boring. Just before Bivol beat Canelo. And that been a story that Bob don't see nothing on him. And I know why. You did Beterbiev versus Vosdick, which was an excellent fight to watch. It was a high-level fight, action. It was great.
Yep.
But not a lot of people saw it. Not a lot of people came to see it. So if you Bob, man, what I look like paying all this money for 2 Russians? Ain't nobody gonna come see this shit, bro.
I remember, I think it was 2019 when Bivol got that belt. Was he promoted from secondary? I think he was.
Yeah, he was. What it was is that, remember that Ward had it. And Ward retired. And then I think Artur fought Enrico Colling, I think it was. And, beat the guy, becomes IBF mandatory, then IBF champion.
So yeah, they've been champs. I'm just gonna say they've been champs for too damn long. That division needs to get an undisputed champion, or get the belts to start getting reset the button.
I'm gonna tell you the truth. Light heavyweight has bigger problems than those 2 not fighting, because see, when we look at lightweight, you got young guys. Not that I'm, I'll give you an example. At lightweight, got a good young guy in Shakur Stevenson. Another young guy in Isaac Cruz. Semi-young guy, not really, in Frank Martin. It has a future. You see that beyond Devin and beyond Loma and beyond Lopez, these are the guys that you're going to be watching. Now, the problem at light heavyweight, tell me, besides Artur and Dimitri, who's the blue chip?
Joshua Buatsi.
My ass.
I'm just playing.
My ass.
I mean, not much.
My ass.
There's no selling card up there.
Nothing.
I mean, but here's my only thing. Like,
Ben Whitaker. That's pretty much it, though.
Bro, that dude is gonna look. I don't got nothing against Ben. I see another Josh Kelly.
Oh, that's.
Well, there's that. What was the dude that was supposed to fight Bivol? Wasn't it Aziz? He's not old, is he? How old is he? Like,
Dan
30, bro.
Dan Aziz is 35.
Oh my god, I didn't even.
Damn.
Bruh, that dude got kids and all that shit, bro. You got a kid in college. That dude's crazy out here.
Okay, to be fair, I did not know who he was until it was a potential Bivol fight. In my defense.
Well, that tells you about 175, don't it?
Yeah.
The only thing that could kind of
Hutchinson?
breathe life into, because that's the problem, that one, Artur and Dimitri not fighting, but the problem is bigger than them. Who's the next wave of exciting young fighters that are going to carry the torch at 175? Because, Artur is fucking damn near 40, bruh.
Yeah.
Right?
It's all about Ramirez.
And
now Ramirez is going to cruiserweight.
Oh.
Artur might eventually go to cruiserweight. He's mentioned
If
that.
David wasn't a coward, I would say him, but,
that. He probably could whoop ass up there. I mean, shit, if Badu Jack could go up there, why can't Artur?
Okay, It's time for Pascal to take over the division.
The rebirth.
And that's the thing, too. That's another thing about
the reckoning.
I think, too, you mentioned about American boxing. Nobody's paying attention to it. We don't have a champion from 160 to heavyweight, really. That's another reason why 175 is there. That was the division of Roy Jones and Bernard Hopkins once upon a time, and all these guys. And now there's no American there. Nobody's paying attention to it.
You're objectively stupid, and I'll tell you why. We have Jermall Charlo, 2 years champion.
We have David. Okay, but David's not. They're not 175.
It would have to be that some of those guys at 168, and that's a big if, because they don't want no problems with Artur. None of them do, bro. None of them do.
Even Mirage don't.
Mirage don't want no problem. If you say, Davis should fight Artur, Mirage, his blood sugar goes through the roof, bro. He gets really upset about that shit. Like, nah, why he got to do that? You know what I mean? So
he wasn't happy when David Sr. apologized.
Well, I bet he wasn't. But what it would take, honestly, is if like David Morrell and David Benavidez, if they went to light heavyweight. But the thing is, they don't want no problems with them Russians. They don't want no problems with, bro. If Bivol don't just embarrass you, Artur's gonna put you in the hospital.
I could see Morel maybe like not fighting Bivol or Beterbiev. I mean like when Beterbiev is like, you know what, bro, I'm like 49, I gotta go, and then magically some guys just magically get the courage to go up and wait.
You said 49.
Listen, my guy, what might happen, right? Because if Artur beats Callum, and most people think that he can, we'll see how it shakes out. But if he does, what's he gonna do? He's gonna stay there to fight Michael Eifert.
Yeah.
Right? He's gonna. That's what we're doing.
Imagine if that's who beats him.
I could see him going up to Cruiser and fighting Arsene Goulamarian.
That would
I would
be
like to see him and Breedis. Him and Breedis would be a good fight.
Yes, and Breedis about to have a fight too. That's the other thing. He got a fight coming up. So
who's he
it's
fighting?
Like some fucking guy. He's rebounding off the loss to J.O. Pataya. This is gonna be his first fight in a year. So it ain't gonna be nobody that. Yeah, it ain't gonna be nobody that. You know what I mean?
Is Mauricio Suleiman still on this anti-Russian bullshit?
Absolutely.
What the fuck, man? I mean, if it's not one thing, it's another. He allows one guy to hold a title for 2 years. He orders another guy to fight for a title after having it not even a year.
He said there is no time limit on when Jermall has to come.
He gave Devin 3 days, bro.
Yo, you talk about not liking somebody. That's proof. The WBC don't like Devin. How you look?
I straight up said at one point, I said, "Yo, Devin might as well throw that belt in the trash, bro. This is the best."
Oh yeah,
they don't like
called him the Pride champion at one.
Bro, I'm telling you right now, Jermall Charlo will take that belt to the grave, undisputed.
Holy shit!
Remember, him and Bivol are gonna fight for undisputed at 68.
There you go. That's gonna happen.
Yeah.
I don't hate the order for the Shakur thing, but I was just so surprised. I was like, "Whoa, damn!"
Think about that, though. I thought Loma was the number one in the WBC.
That's what I thought too. What the
that was
fuck
a weird part to me.
They had all this. They had all.
It
this
makes no sense, dude.
Stuff, right?
This whole thing makes no sense. That whole organization makes no sense. If you
they
think of
need to ban that green belt, the green belt, and make the IBO the new green belt.
And the great word.
I tell you what, bro. This the shit, right? I don't know what they're paying because they have to be paying them. They have to be. There is no virtue and nothing to gain in giving Jermall this level of amnesty. It's ridiculous. And for the fighters and their team, this is what drives me crazy. Y'all want to get us guys special favors? Go ahead. You will not get no sanctioning fees from me. I'm done. Whatever rank I had in the beast, whatever, bro. I don't care about that shit. I'm going to BF route. I'm going to BA route. I'm going to BO route. I'm not going to have y'all taking money out my purse so y'all can fucking play games. And that's what really irritates me about it. It's that if you letting them, you are complicit. Carlos, you complicit. Now, if you want to... Yes, if I'm Carlos, yo, motherfuckers done told them off before. Riddick, bro, took their belt, threw it in the garbage. Canelo took their belt, threw it in the garbage. If I'm Carlos Adames, yo, fuck y'all, man. Fuck y'all. What the fuck, y'all?
What did he do after that? IBF route is not a short route. That is a pretty damn long time.
But
and that's if you can get it.
Hey,
you don't think Carlos been waiting a long time?
Right.
Oh, yeah. And he deserves a shot.
Hey, I'll tell you what. If Carlos was to come out tomorrow and say, I want to fight Yanni Beck, you think that fight won't happen? They're looking for Yanni Beck opponents.
That's right. That's my point.
That's a tough fight for Yanni Beck if he fought.
The main thing is this. They're like, it's wrong because the fighters that are in that rank, they got to pay for that. They got to pay for that. Y'all literally getting a piece out of all these men purse so that they don't get no title shot. This motherfucker ain't fought in 3 years. What y'all fighting for then? What are y'all paying for? You could get shot up to number one right now. Right now. It ain't gonna mean nothing because you ain't getting no title shot. So then what is y'all giving these people your money for? Shout out to Broadway Joel. He got fresh with him. He got fly with him. He told him, like, I did my research. y'all supposed to label him a champion in recess. If he been out for a year, y'all supposed to label him a champ. Yeah, like that's what y'all used to do. Why y'all not doing that now?
Because Mauricio Sullivan is going through a tough divorce and he understands.
Man, fuck that divorce, man.
I don't see the point, to be honest. It's like, what's the harm in giving?
That's
what's it
stupid.
called?
And once
Carlos the belt?
again, y'all can have y'all corruption. Y'all can have y'all special favors, whatever. But what's wrong is that these men is literally giving you a piece of their purse for a title shot that in all likelihood they're never going to get.
Yeah.
With all due respect, why was it that Manny, they took his belt away in like 15 minutes, but then you end up having Charlo, who's going through divorce. With all due respect, I can respect.
That was WBA though.
Well, right.
Yeah, that was the BA though.
I do understand that, but it still should all be the same. They all should be following the same rules. The point of what I'm getting at though is why is it that someone's personal problems are going to hold up 10 other people? I understand we have problems in life, but to have a guy be able to sit out for 2 years and he just gets to hold his belt because he feels sad and he's going through
Any
divorce,
other job, villain. If you tell your boys any other job, if you cannot do your job for 2 years, you know what happens? You don't have a fucking job.
Yeah,
but they contradicted that. They contradicted that with Thurman, for example. There was personal reasons why they stripped him for that because he had the accident. He was out for a year.
Yeah, he was injured. He actually had a physical injury.
And they stripped there, but they're not going to do it with Charlo. They're just not consistent. They're corrupt, man. They're that bad. That's how bad it is.
It's that simple, bro.
Yeah, it looks bad, man. It looks awful for boxing. It's just another black eye on boxing to watch that shit happen, dude.
Nah, look, I'm going to smoke a cigarette, gentleman villain. Grace us with your musical stylings.
You know I can't sing worth shit. Remember, the only person worse to sing is my wife, so you don't want to hear me fucking sing.
Is that a challenge, villain?
No, man, you don't want to hear me sing. It's awesome. I love to sing, but it's terrible. And I can't rap, and I have no rhythm, and I have no artistic ability. So y'all don't want me to waste my time or your time. With that being said,
honesty, it's a virtue.
The truth is the truth is the truth. What do you guys think about this Fulton fight? I wasn't here. Maybe you guys already talked about it. Anybody got an opinion?
What fight?
Yeah, Fulton, the upcoming Fulton monster fight.
Oh man, that's the fight I'm most looking forward to. For me, that's the fight. You know, I just want to see how each guy handles the other guy's style. I'm favoring Inoue. I don't care. I mean, I'm going for Inoue. But if Fulton wins, props to him. You know, he took the risk to go over there.
If Inoue's power could what's that?
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say if Inoue's power transfers up, I'll probably take him by a stoppage like mid-round. But
I think
I don't know. That's a pretty tough fight to call.
I don't think I can see it.
If either of those guys are gonna stop Inoue, he'll stop Fulton. The thing I don't understand about Fulton, why people are so high on him, and you guys correct me if you want to, but Fulton doesn't have a very high KO percentage. That's number one. So I don't see him knocking him out. The other thing was when I watched him fight that Figueroa fight, I had him losing. I may be the only one that did. So after that fight and he won, I was shocked. But maybe I'm not I'm not as high on the guy as other people are. But I don't think it's going to be a close fight. I think the monster's going to beat the dog shit out of him.
Yeah, I mean, I think so too. But my thing is, I want to see how Fulton goes into the fight. Is he going to fight off the back foot, or are you going to press the action toward Inoue, which I think is I think either one is a bad idea. I think he got to mix it up. You know, because you fight on the back foot all day, I don't see the judges giving you the rounds if he's pressing you. But if you come forward, you're going to be there for everything. And I think he could start Fulton to the body. His body punches to me.
If I have to be honest, villain,
Fulton has to look busy. If he doesn't look busy and he doesn't look aggressive,
exactly,
he's not winning that fight. He's done.
Exactly.
Leo,
look, I've been thinking about that fight, and being here on this channel has taught me that most of the time styles make fights, and can also most of the time they can predict a fight. And in this case, I have to lean on Fulton.
And why do you lean that way?
And the reason is this is mostly because of this. Fulton is a pure boxer. Inoue is a boxer puncher. Fulton has advantage. And for me to believe that Inoue is gonna beat the dog shit out of fucking Fulton has it has to be because Inoue is levels upon levels upon levels of above Fulton, and I don't think that's the case because Inoue, as accomplished fighter as he is moving a new another weight class, and is fighting a guy that's not gonna make any favors to him.
So how do you see him winning the fight?
Yeah, how do you
I
see the fight ending then?
I think Inoue is gonna connect his punches, and I don't think he's gonna hurt significantly. It's not gonna hurt Fulton really. He's gonna connect punches. Maybe Fulton's gonna look bad in some of the runs, but Fulton is gonna make a negative fight and is going to try to win on points. And I think he's gonna succeed. Because if you're talking about Brandon Figueroa is a brawler, and he cuts the ring in a weird way. He crosses his legs, so it's no way that you're gonna run from Brandon Figueroa. You can run from fucking Inoue and connect
He
some
cuts out the
punches.
ring too, outside.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
I
but
mean, but can you win the fight running?
That's the
not.
thing.
I
When Paul Butler, see, it's a delicate balance, and I think most American fight fans don't seem to understand that. It seems to ring true everywhere else in the world, except in the minds of American fight fans, that if you're gonna move lateral, you still need to land more than he does. It can't look like he's outworking you. And when his back is to the center of the ring and your back is on the ropes consistently, you, my friend, and I get into this argument every other fucking weekend, you're losing. That's what's
but
happening.
don't you think, Julius? Don't you think that Fulton can fight on the fly? Because I know Butler cannot fight on the fly because I saw him, but Fulton can fight on the fly. I think so.
I think he can fight on the fly, but I also think that he can be hurt by a non-puncher because I saw him hurt by a non. Well, at minimum, I saw him careened into the ropes. I saw him careen into the ropes when he fought Angelo Leo, and Angelo Leo is not Naoya Inoue.
I've also seen him on the ropes a little too many times in his career.
Yeah, I mean, like most of the time that I've seen Fulton, with the exception of two fights, the Arnold Kagai fight, which he fought in the pocket, but Arnold big strong. He's like a big strong little ass man. He's like a little ass man with a lot of muscles. They was
And he
fighting
works
in a
hard a lot too. He's busy the whole fight. Arnold.
yeah. Arnold Kagai and Brandon Figueroa. Those were the two fights, and with Brandon, it wasn't really a choice from Fulton. That's Brandon. That he big and tall, but he want to fight like he's 4'11". And he couldn't get away from those guys. He couldn't get away. So I see how he knew he could win. I see
How
how.
do you see the fight? Sorry to interrupt. How do you see the fight ending? Let me break this. Sorry, I didn't interrupt. So if you have Fulton winning, just hypothetically, how do you see him winning? And if you have a Inoue winning, how do you have him winning?
The way that Fulton can win, that I could see if he wins, is the way that Leo says. But you'd have to be fighting the fight of your life, which is, to me, is asking a lot. You'd have to be completely effective, moving lateral on the back foot, connecting more punches and meaningful punches. You would essentially have to embarrass Inoue in front of his own people. That's what you'd have to do, because you're not going. I don't see Fulton knocking this guy out. Not me. Now, if you're Inoue, with Inoue, the way that Inoue always wins, the way he wins is simple, and it's always the same. At some point, he's going to hit you with a punch you don't see, that you're not ready for. You're going to get wobbled, and he's going to pour it on. It's the same in every fight. The same in every fight. What makes him a genius is that he manages to do this to people that are built different, that fight different. They got different things that they're good at. Whether you're Nonito Donaire or Emmanuel Rodriguez or Jamie McDonnell or Paul Butler, that irrespective of your base style, what he's really good at is shot selection. He knows when to hit you, where to hit you, with what to hit you.
So who do you have winning the fight? What's your?
I'm not going to say that yet.
All right.
Say that yet. Deed says Inoue would whoop Tank if they were the same size. I mean, I like Inoue, so I don't really like Tank that much. Jack says that 13-month layoff will affect Fulton's timing. That's the other thing that isn't being said. It's been over a year since Fulton fought Ronnie Rios. It's been over a year. That's not good. Especially if your plan of action is to move lateral, time his entry, because when you're moving lateral and you're trying to walk him into punches, you got to try to time him on the way in. Now, he knew he's very sharp. If you watch him, he's very sharp. It's going to be hard to time him. You have to ask yourself, who's quicker? Who's got faster hand speed and faster reflexes, hand-eye coordination? Inoue or Fulton, under these circumstances, you ain't fought in 13 months.
There's also one thing. I know people mention Fulton's footwork, but I see him lunging. I've seen him overreaching a lot. I've seen his pivots on the ropes look awkward too. Like, people make him out to be like he's a perfect boxer, which I don't see him going on his bike all for 12 rounds.
Shout out to my mans and them. You didn't have to do that, Boxing Gems. Why you did that? You didn't have to do that. Shout out to Boxing Gems. Salute. I like the odds on Fulton money line. Plus 300, 50-50 in my opinion because of the weight. If Inoue was acclimated already and we knew his power and punch resistance was just as effective, I'd pick Inoue. Shout out to Jules in the panel. I appreciate you, bro. You didn't have to do that, but I appreciate it. I'll say that what makes it a mouth-watering fight for me is just that. We know that Fulton is durable. We know that. Brandon Figueroa is a big fucking kid that throws a lot of fucking punches. Irrespective of who you think won, because some people felt Brandon did it up. Whatever. I ain't worried about it. Fulton took them punches. Didn't go down, didn't go out. Now, what creates the separate argument is Brandon is a Gatling gun. You know that when he throws one punch, 3 more are coming. So you know to brace yourself. All right, here we go. That's how he fight. With Inoue, it's not like that. His bread and butter is hitting you with punches you don't see. One thing that I could see on Inoue, maybe he gets Fulton to the body. Maybe that's where he gets it.
Possibly.
Good body punch. And them punches to the body, Inoue has to know that, okay, this guy's a mover. We know what to do with a mover. We got to take his legs away. We know how to do that. We go to the body. You know what I mean? So it's not to me, it's not a question of, it's not Fulton has a glass. No, Fulton doesn't have a glass jaw. He's durable. The problem is whenever you get hit with some shit you don't see, it's completely different. I did a video on it where I said that Artur, that's thudding power. Whether you see the punch or not, it's going to hurt because he has heavy fucking hands. With Inoue, it's about form. His form is some Spartan shit. It's perfect. It's not that he's so heavy-handed. It's he knows what to hit you with, when to hit you, how to hit you, and he's quick. So that adds something to it. You know what I mean? Adds something to it. It's going to be a good fight, man. Good goddamn fight.
I think people don't really appreciate that too because a good example of this, even though he doesn't hit hard as Inoue at all, is Keyshawn Davis. When I've seen him really hurt guys, it's not like he's hitting them really hard. He's just hitting them with a precise shot to the right place, all those precise liver shots, like the one he took out Yigit with I forgot what round it was, but that shit was insane.
Hit him to the body. It's just that if the guy's not bracing himself for the punch, if he don't see it coming, it's gonna hurt. I still feel like Inoue will have speed. He will have, because he's young. He's not an old guy that's moving up because his body was hurting. No, it ain't even like that. He could have chilled out at 118 some more if he wanted to and still been effective. It's that he's young. All right, I did my thing at 118. It's time to go to 122. It's a great fight. If you tell me it's a 50-50 fight, I'm like, yeah, I can see that. In reality, Inoue is a 3-1 favorite, I believe it is. I think he's a 3-1 favorite in 4 sports books.
Apparently, he was struggling to make weight a little bit on that last fight. Apparently, there were some reports
Shit,
that
I didn't know
he
that.
didn't make the Paul Butler for that cleanly. So he was like, "Yeah, time to go."
Time to move up. Well, he did it right on time, didn't he? Shit. And the other thing is a guy who's moving lateral after a 13-month layoff. Maybe that'll work for the first 6 rounds, and you'll start looking like Josh Taylor. Start fading because everything costs. Moving costs energy. Even if you're not throwing punches, even if you're not getting hit, just moving that much costs energy. So.
I personally don't think that that's going to be an issue, him going up in weight. I think that power is going to transfer. Having power like that, it's gonna. I wouldn't be surprised if he went up another weight class after that. And
I think he'd be pushing it at feather, bro. Feather is a different end. It's different people up there, man.
I know, but who the hell at that weight class has that power?
It's not. It's just look, it's just like Luis Lopez. He's about to fight Joet Gonzalez, which is really disappointing because immediately after the fight, Luis said that he'd be willing to go to the UK. I knew it was a pipe dream, you know, but he said he'd be willing to go to the UK for Lee Wood.
You don't think that's going to be a good fight, that Gonzalez fight, though? Gonzalez is a tough fight for anybody, though, man.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
I'm actually, when they announced it today, I was actually very excited to see that because I know it's going to be a high work ratio fight. So it's going to be very fan-friendly.
Yeah, they're going to throw, bro. They're going to, like, you know, Luis, he's all flash and pizzazz, but he wants to throw. And Joet, obviously, he likes to throw. So it is going to be an aesthetically pleasing fight. It's just that for Luis, if you done did that, you done went to Ireland, you beat Mick, you won in great fashion, and you want to be in a big fight. Unfortunately, yeah, Joet is a good fight, but it's not a big fight.
It's a B level fight. I mean, it leaves more to be wanted, but it's still going to be an enjoyable fight to watch.
Oh, that's a very good question. Boxing Gems wonders, does anybody think that he knew he could beat Figueroa? And, let's put it this way. It's not something I've often talked about or broached because we already know that Figueroa moved up. But stylistically, that's actually a very difficult fight. Yeah. Yes. You want to look, what makes it difficult is Inoue is economic. He doesn't just throw to throw. Whereas Brandon, not only is he very big, he's very busy. He's going to try to smother you and push you around. Inoue being the naturally smaller fighter, if that fight were 1 to 2 fights from now, that is a very difficult fight. What saves him in this fight is that, Fulton's not a Gatling gun. Fulton is not an artillery fighter. He's a cerebral fighter. So you can be in that fight. But against a big, strong, young guy, yeah, he's flawed. That's fine. He's got a lot of size on you and activity. It's a difficult fight.
But he's extremely sloppy, and half the shots he throws are sloppy. You can easily get countered right out and just.
It's those awkward
fight.
It's those. That was.
He looked so bad.
If Mark McFly didn't have
the worst gas tank of all time,
because he had him. He had him, and he's not accurate enough to get him. And it's, you know what the thing is? It's the same thing with Brandon that it was with Fundora, that it was with Jarrett Hurd. You know what it really is? You are not that accurate with the jab. You're not confident enough to stay on that jab and keep him at arm's length, because when you try to do that, you get hit. So what do? You collapse the pocket and you just lean on him and try to smother. Because if you out here, you could get hit. If you in here and you smothering, it's not that much on the punches, so you all right. They all do it. Jarrett Hurd did it. Brandon does it. Fucking Fundora does it. You got a guy, he's 6'5". Why are you fighting like you 4'11"? Because when you out here, and the Ocampo fight is the best example. In the first 4 rounds of the Ocampo fight, he's trying to be more of a jabber. But Ocampo is actually making him look bad. He's having success. It's not till he get back on his Fundora shit. Well, I'm going to be right here with you. That, all right, well, now you doing your thing. But you were always on borrowed time with that one day you're going to find somebody. They're going to crack your shit. You found that somebody. That somebody was Brian Mendoza.
Bro, Figueroa and Fundora related because, goddamn, identical.
It's the same shit, bro. It's the same. What it is a bad habit in place of a style. That's what it is. It's a bad habit in place of a style. Because what you're really doing is you're giving up your height so that you can smother because you can't maintain the distance. You're not good enough with the jab to pop and then get out of there. Pop and get out of there. Pop and get it. You don't got the timing, the speed, the reflexes, or the accuracy for that. So what do? You fall in, smother, like, he ain't that much on his punches right here anyway, so I get him from right here. And that's the kind of thing that works up until it doesn't. Best example, Jarrett Hurd versus Julian Williams. Yeah, it'll work for a while until it doesn't. It's a flaw. It's a bad habit in place of a base style. What makes it a bad habit? You're giving up your height. You're giving it up. tall as shit for this weight. Why are you so close to the guy?
Like, I know people might take this a bit harsh, and I know like I might get some flack for saying this, but honestly, I Brandon Figueroa, I rate him so low. If you told me Nick Ball was fighting Brandon Figueroa tomorrow, I'd tell you that's a 50-50 fight.
Yeah, he is that bad. He is that bad. And I don't think that in the pocket where we all know Brandon wants to be, in the pocket, Nick Ball has the advantage. The shorter fighter with the shorter arms will have sharper punches in the pocket. So I actually agree with that. Like, yeah, Nick might get him.
Do you think? Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Do you think he would get away with that at 130?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. With these guys, weight bullies, they going down, fighting these smaller guys. You know, like, I mean, Navarrete, he found out as soon as he moved up to 130.
You seen that, Liam? You see, the Liam Wilson kid had a slight height advantage, slight reach advantage. And because Navarrete is so aggressive, he normally does this thing where he'll try for a shot and lean right over his lead foot. And them little guys, they can't really make you pay for that because they mad little. They ain't worried. But Liam, like, oh, all right, like, it's easy for him because, like, I ain't got to be right up on you to touch you. So you already started to see the problems that I'm talking about. They're like, yeah, at 122, Navarrete has so much ring coverage. He could be way out there somewhere and hit one of these little guys because he's so much taller. And it worked for a while until.
You know who Brandon Figueroa reminds me of? It's like a big man trying to do a three-pointer, man. It's not going to happen. That's Brandon Figueroa. He just forgets he's big. So instead of trying to be Shaq and dunking, you're trying to throw for three-pointers.
Because it's a bad habit. They're treating it. See, Brandon, if you gotta give him, if you gotta file him or categorize him, he's a pressure fighter. But he's only a pressure fighter because you ain't got no jab. That's why you going for the mid-range to inside fighting. That's why you going for the volume in the pocket, because from the outside you really ain't no good. And that's crazy because, well, you should be. Look at how long your arms are. Look how tall you are. You're compensating. It's a bad habit. Now, pressure fighters that do have a good jab, even though it's not like a textbook stiff jab, chocolatito, or to a Beterbiev, they throw that little jab. It's a little jab. They not even really trying to hit you with it. They just trying to get you to do this. While you do this, there's a body shot. There's an uppercut. I love that little jab they throw. They throw a little jab. I ain't trying to hit you with it. I'm just trying to cover up.
It's not the full jab. It's just the jab.
Same thing as Castaño. Little jab and then 4-12 punches right after.
And it's a keyhole jab. Like, if you got to call it, it's a keyhole jab. Like, yeah, they step into it, but it's not that Larry Holmes water jab where you really, you try to hit him with the jab. It's not that Lennox Lewis jab. It's just a little key to get you in, just to get you in. You may hit him, you may not. You might hit his arm. It's what comes after that jab that you really trying to get in there. This is just to get you to keep your guns holstered. Because as long as they doing that, you're not going to want to throw. If you throw while they doing that, counter. And you ain't going to want to do that. I love Artur's jab. It doesn't get said enough that that's a good, effective jab. It's just that it's not the jab that he's really trying to hit you with. He's trying to hit you with all up.
You know who has the best jab?
Usyk do the same thing.
You know who has the best jab in
decoy.
boxing?
Who?
Isaac Cruz.
Fuck out of here. That dude has no jab.
Best jab.
That dude is all haymakers. He is all haymakers. Ha! He is all haymakers, bro. All haymakers.
Arthur's jab is more like foreplay. He doesn't really want that. He's just getting it out there so he can fucking give you the uppercut or the hook.
Yeah. So it's a decoy. Like, his jab is basically a decoy punch. Like, yeah, you're gonna cover up worrying about that little old jab. You're not gonna see this right uppercut split that guard. You're not gonna see this left hook that go under that elbow. It's a beautiful thing. I love his jab. Even though he's not someone that you would consider a jabber, because he isn't. Jab might land, jab might not, but it's an effective punch.
Like Tyson. Tyson didn't have a phenomenal jab, but he used the jab in the same exact way, so he can get you. So he can get you with the uppercut.
All the good pressure fighters do it. All the good pressure fighters got that little jab. Little jab, like, I ain't trying to hit you with this shit. I'm just trying to get close to you. I ain't trying to hit you with this shit. Chocolatito do it. Artur do it. Mike did it. It's a short jab. Maybe it land, maybe it don't. I'm just trying to step into it. That's all. It's a beautiful thing. You know what I mean? Now, Mr. Boxing Move say, Jules, is Spence weight cut and inactivity an issue? I would say it is. I would say it is. See, the people that he fought, and I know Spence fans would get very angry if I say this. The people that he's fought, right? Danny Garcia, flat feet, right? Ugas, I'm sorry to say he's not that good, right? They cannot exploit these things that you have working against you. None of them can. Danny is a decent counterpuncher, but no feet, and his reaction time is kind of slow. Ugas was never really that good. His claim to fame is beating a 42-year-old Manny Pacquiao that hadn't fought in 2 years. He's not that good, and that's literally the best win of his entire career.
But don't you know, Errol Spence is the more fundamentally sound boxer. You can go in your last video and see a 20-page discussion back and forth between me and someone saying that
Is it
Errol
the homie
Spence,
Ricky?
yeah.
He loves he loves Spence, bro. That dude just loves Spence.
He loves arguing.
Only thing Spence does good, really good, is his jab. He has a good jab and he has a high workload. That's it.
I don't think that Spence has a good jab personally. No, let me rephrase that. I think he has a good jab, not better than Crawford's. He doesn't get the hand back fast enough. That's kind of evident in the Brook fight. That's why Brook's jab in the beginning of the fight, he was actually out jabbing Spence, which is telling because, well, you're a southpaw. You're supposed to be out here. His jab's supposed to come out here. You move out here. Your jab. That's how it's supposed to be. You're supposed to be able to do that because you moving right. He's going and he's trying, but you staying on the outside of him. So I don't think that Spence's jab is better than Crawford's. Not that Crawford is as reliant on his jab. That's the weird part. Crawford is not as reliant on his jab as Errol. Everything is off the jab with Errol. Crawford is kind of like above that. Like, nah, we ain't got to do that. I could hook off the pivot.
Earl he's also susceptible to it, that jab, that he puts too much weight on that front foot. And so when he's jabbing out, his head almost leans over enough. So he's really susceptible to an uppercut. He's susceptible to a quick left or right as well, too. And I noticed that because I went back and watched like 3 fights from Earl and 3 fights of Crawford. He just kind of dissected what their weaknesses were. And I noticed, unfortunately, that Crawford has at times he can leave his hands down in between when he's trying to counter, and Earl lean on that front foot way too much, and he gets wide open. I could see him get knocked out that way because he's got a real bad habit doing that.
I think that this is an intriguing one. It's not that Spence doesn't have great balance. I actually do think his balance is good. His balance is good, but he's flat-footed. That means that the power that he has, he draws from the ground. His whole foot is on the ground. So he's drawing power from the ground when he goes to the body, steps into his punches. And good balance. Don't he doesn't throw wild dumb shit. Like, who's really off balance? Demetrius Andrade. Like, the balance is terrible. So yeah, Spence has good balance. I'll give him that. But it's like, once again, Spence is more flat-footed than Crawford. Now, Danny Garcia cannot exploit that because Danny's flat-footed. Ugas is Ugas, right? Mikey's not going to be able to exploit that because not only is he flat-footed, he's little. So some of these things that not that much of an issue in other fights, they may be an issue in this one because I don't think he has faster feet than Terrence Crawford. He doesn't fight on. Spence doesn't fight on the balls of his feet. Nobody
fight told you that.
Yeah,
before he couldn't get away from Porter.
Also, another thing is whenever he puts is when he's trying to move out of the way of shots. Like he said, he's not off balance. That time he's very off balance. Or when you change the angle on him, he's insanely off balance. There's a clip where he's fighting Porter, and he actually, I think Porter shoots, he dodges, he lands a counter, and if you actually look at it in real time, it looks like he just got rocked. That's how off balance he was.
Yeah, he don't have better balance than Kell Brook. Kell handled Porter easily as far as not getting smothered by Porter. Spence, he had to fight that way because he couldn't get out the way.
And I literally, from God's mouth to your ears, like you couldn't get away from him. You didn't have the foot speed to create space between you and Shawn. Brook had it. And in those few moments where Shawn get in, no, we're not doing that. You know what I mean? Tie his ass up. If when he ain't tying his ass up, hit him with jab. Well, Errol wasn't like that. Why? Because you stand on your whole foot. So when Shawn want to get in, he's going to get in. And once he's in, you got to engage because he's in. You got to engage. You got to fight him off. Well, Crawford, it was exactly as I said. Crawford is going to create space between him and Shawn. Shawn's going to lunge in, move, and I'm not going to be here, and I'm going to be over there. You're going to be right there, and then you're going to try this shit again. Move, just keep hooking on the turn. Because Shawn is a bull. He's going to come forward in a straight line. You know what he's going to do. He's going to come forward in a straight line. But Crawford has the foot speed to get away from that. Errol don't.
Well, you see, you guys are all objectively wrong because Crawford got dropped by Mean Machine and looked bad against Prime Gamboa. So by extension, you're wrong.
It's crazy that those are literally the only two fights people talk about, and then they'll be like, "Oh, you guys are bums, though. They've never done anything in their careers." And you'll be like, "But wait a minute, Gamboa fought this dude, and Kai Velasquez was beating this guy." And they're just like, "Nah, they were bums anyway, bro. I don't know what you're talking about."
Yeah, I don't do it anymore. The fight is a little over a week away. And that's why. Listen, that's why a lot of them guys, more and more, they getting vocal because they nerves is killing them. Like it's killing them. Like y'all don't really believe the shit y'all saying. I don't gotta sit here arguing with you, man.
If your only argument is he looked decent against a person 10 years ago, I'm sorry to say, man, that's not a very good argument.
Right. And they don't know, like I said, like, look, I'm not trying to blow smoke up nobody's ass. Mean Machine is a big welterweight. I said that before. That's a big welterweight. The reason they don't realize it is because you don't get Mean Machine versus Thurman. You don't get Mean Machine versus Garcia. If he was standing next to them, you would see this is a big guy for welterweight. Burly guy, 2-time Olympian. He could crack. I'm not saying he pound for pound, but he can punch. He can punch. Sorry, he dropped Crawford. It's okay. Darnell Boone dropped Andre Ward. We all know Zab Judah dropped Floyd. Shit happens.
Bro, Frank Martin looked like ass against what was he, a bronze Olympian? Bronze Olympian?
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
He looked like ass. So we're gonna now hold every single fight in the future because he looked like ass against one Olympian.
Bro, I was talking to this fucking genius level. I'm like, yo, the dude said, yo, that Hartunian dude, he was a standout amateur. I'm like, yeah, so is Keyshawn Davis.
Wait, hold on. You know who else was a standout amateur? What's his name? So was Anthony. If we really gotta be like that,
we do gotta be like that, though. We do. But I'm just saying that if look, man, I don't got nothing against Frank Martin. I think he's a good fighter, but he not. I can see that, like, nah, he not fucking with Keyshawn. Keyshawn got that extra. He has that extra. Like, he got the fundamentals. Then got that extra. You know what I'm saying? Frank don't have that.
Hey, that Andy Cruz kid, I think he's gonna be someone, man. That dude's debut was good.
He showed me. I mean, look, I thought Michael was talking a lot of fucking shit. I don't know why he's talking so much shit. Him and Drew was talking all type of shit. I liked it, his debut. I thought, yo, this motherfucker is styling.
Bro, for his first professional fight, he looked good.
Yeah, I thought he did, but that they didn't. Rick Starr says, if Canelo turned Callum's arm into a hammered veal cutlet, then Beterbiev shall make Smith a complete... Yo, that's what I literally said that earlier today in a video that, yo, Canelo, just by punching this man in his arm, he literally disconnected his bicep from the shit. Just by punching him in the arm. So what you think happens if Artur just gets it? Yeah, I'm just beat the shit out of your arms, bro. You want... hide behind that guard? I got you.
Hear me out on this, though, Ring. When he fought Canelo, that's a small movement. That's a small guy that you got to hit. Artur is substantially bigger than Canelo. So he was worried about he is, but he was worried about the counter that's going to come back if he swing that left hook or that straight right, the counter. Well, Artur, you ain't really worried about the counter. You worried about him just hitting you. So
I will be. Hang on, if you're not worried about a counter with, go ahead, Leo.
No, I was going to say the same thing that you were going to say. If you're not worried about the Beterbiev counter you're not watching Beterbiev, really.
Yeah,
Because
because it was a counter. Look,
Go ahead.
let me spell it out. Callum's best punches are his straight punches. His best punches are his straight punches from the outside coming in when he step into them. So what could happen to Callum is overhand right. That's what I see. And that's if he don't play with you. If he play with you and he let it go a couple of rounds, you're going to end up on the ropes, bro. You are. You're going to end up on the ropes. And when you're on the ropes, this fight is over.
Or what could happen, he could pull like what Zarya did. If you start to feel power, you start to be more hesitant to start throwing things, so you start to turtle up.
That's true. I'm not saying that you don't worry about Beterbiev's countering abilities. I'm not saying that. But Canelo is predicated on the counters. Whereas Beterbiev, he just want to close the distance, get you against the ropes, and be Beterbiev. What I'm saying is Canelo got better upper body movement than Beterbiev as far as if you throw a jab out there. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that you can't worry about Beterbiev's counters. Of course, he wanted to, that's all I'm saying.
I do agree. No, I agree with that. That Canelo, at least, in that he was fighting on a swivel, and he does have more of a propensity to fight on a swivel. Whereas Artur, he's got that Soviet style. That torso really don't move if you watch him. It really, he'll get his hands here, and he'll do shit with the guard. But that torso don't move, and that I see it. That if he's not fighting on a swivel, slipping and shit, that's not really what Artur does. So I do get that. He don't do that. Chris Price says Spence throws the jab one way, power jab. Bud utilizes the jab less, but throws the power jab, flicking jabs, range finding jabs, and has the ability to disguise the jab as yes, he does. I seen him hook off the jab, which a lot of people can't do. I've seen him hook off the jab. Got too many tools, man. What got too many tools, man? Kell Brook KO.
How many times did you see Spence put Porter on the ropes? Now, how many times did you see Crawford get Porter on the ropes from spinning off, hooking off, putting Porter against the ropes then? Their footwork is just different.
Yeah, honestly.
Bro, I'm gonna piss off Spence fans, but I mean, this should be a statistical fact. He looks the exact same in his debut as he did in the Ugas fight. Same idea, same shit. You slightly got better. Actually, shit, you might have gotten worse after all the shit.
I want to add an observation from the fight with, I think, another channel, BDA, pointed out that Crawford does an illegal kind of hook around the neck to move guys around. And then I saw some of the fights he was going over the fight, analyzing the fights. And yeah, I saw that a lot with, I remember seeing that a lot with the fight with Porter. And I thought to myself, I don't know how he gets away with it or how, refs just don't see that kind of stuff. But other than that, I mean, Porter didn't have much of a chance with Crawford. And it's a lot of athletic ability with Crawford. He moves, but he moves with conviction. He moves with purpose. And when you have a guy like that and that with that power, I still listen. I still have it as a 50-50 fight, and the only reason I have it at a 50-50 fight is because of Father Time, and that's it. Because I don't know when it's going to hit Crawford. I mean, he's not a young guy. And that's the only reason, and that's it. Other than that, if it was Crawford from 3 years ago, forget it. He'd smoke. I wouldn't give Spence a chance at all.
The issue with Crawford is that he has to rely on his athleticism. He has a very high ring IQ.
Yeah.
And when he slows down, he's gonna be beat. I hate to say it because I love him.
Exactly.
But when that athleticism and that speed slow down, he's ripe for the pickings. Unfortunately.
Totally.
Manny Pacquiao, Floyd Mayweather in that respect.
Also,
and
I don't think it's going to be Spence because I just, for me, look, and we're all, if you got it as a 50-50, respect. I respect it. The reason for me, though, is because I seen this happen too many times. The more you open up, the more you open. This guy's a counterpuncher. That's an easy equation. That's what he is. He's a counterpuncher. Create a little bit. His range, Spence is broad strokes, very obvious things. Textbook jab, textbook body punch. It's very obvious stuff. Crawford it's very subtle, these little things that he does, and he's got the basics down packed. So yeah, Crawford's older, but Spence is the one that's banged up. Spence is the one whose body's been through the ringer.
In and out of the ring.
Yeah, like his body's the one to me. Yeah, Crawford might be older in age, but in reality, based on wear and tear, bro, you the one that had the detached retina. You the one that ain't got no friends. He ain't got no friends. He said that he ain't got no friends.
Bud is a gym rat. Spence, first off, yes, he just went through a fat camp because remember, he was not in shape until quite recently.
I forgot about that.
He just went through a fat camp.
Like he ate a Christmas ham.
That's right.
Why you think? Listen, he was using shout out to my mans in him. He was using Fight to Be Fitting, right? That's Bree Howland's trainer and boyfriend, so y'all don't hit on her, right? He was using Fight to Be Fit was his nutritionist up until recently. Why do you think he decided to change shit? This has not been an easy cut for Spence.
That's what I'm saying. So you cut weight, you're a year inactive, you say what you will, you had your car accident, whatever, but I don't want that as an excuse because people said, oh, he beat Ugas, he's back, whatever, fine. All right, you beat Ugas, let's get it done.
I mean, like, he could lose to me. He's losing with dignity if he lose, because at least you wasn't a sucker, and you went in there, and you gonna go in there and you gonna do what it do. I respect that you going in there. It's enough to go in there. If you hadn't gone in there, then that's when, it's like, yo, the fuck, yo. But it's too much for me working against him. The only thing that I see working for him is, if it go to the cards, Bud could get robbed. If it go to the cards,
totally, I could see that.
He's gonna get robbed if it goes to the cards. Let's just be honest.
Shit.
I think I think if we get Terrence Crawford. If we get good Terrence Crawford, a healthy Terrence Crawford, a reactive, athletic, it's not going to be a competition. We're gonna know this. We might know this in the first 2 or 3 rounds.
I say we'll know it in the 4th, because Crawford. It's not that he be getting hit or nothing like that. He chill in them first 2, 3. He just see what you do.
Because even against Shawn, when I thought he was losing some of the early rounds, not a lot, probably like 2 or 3. But when I saw that, something that he was doing, like I forgot which person on this panel said, like the cup around the head thing. That's really fast. Like, if I saw the highlights from it from a guy called like Hands God, he made some really good ones, and he was straight up moving around the ring for those entire rounds, and it was really fast. Like, if he's moving at that speed at like round 2, it's probably gonna be like, all right, bro, he might not be throwing now, but at round 6, it's gonna look bad for Spence.
Yeah, because with that Shawn
Ezekiel said that Crawford gets hit clean early. Who do you think Errol is? Julian Jackson? He didn't knock out Mikey with a clean shot. He hit Mikey 365 times.
But he knocked out Ugas.
He didn't knock out Danny Garcia either.
He even knocked out Ugas, bro. They practically stopped the fight while he was still standing.
Yeah, like it's just
Ugas was cosplaying as a punching bag that entire fight. So,
bro, the dude, like I said, that fight is weird to me because Ugas normally has a set of legs. Normally, he can move, and in that fight, he would just get into that high guard, and like fuck jabbing my way in, right? Fuck that. I'm just getting this high guard and come forward. What are you doing, bro?
A brown paper
the
bag
2 times he punched
that?
him, the 2 times he punched him, he hurt Spence and then backed off.
No, every time he punched a guy, I saw him punch him to the body maybe like, twice every round, which impressive stats right there. But every single time he did that, you saw Spence's body, he straight up jumped, and I was like, Jesus Christ.
Anytime that anything connected on him, I did not like his body language at all.
What didn't make sense to me is the Ugas that we saw against Manny Pacquiao was a completely different Ugas we saw against Spence. They were like just 2 completely different fighters.
Bro, let me tell you something. Don't hit me with the Mikey's chin and Mikey's chin. Rocky fucking Martinez sat him on his back pocket, bro. Rocky fucking Martinez, bro. This is the shit. This is the shit that kills me. Oh, Rocky Martinez sat that man on his back pocket. Salido made him want to leave. Like, my nose, yo, my nose. Like, let's not do this dumb shit. Like, that's silly, bro. It's silly.
Oh,
and don't bring up,
fair.
listen, don't bring up no fucking Danny Garcia, because I swear to God, if Terrence Crawford would have got that cornball in the ring, he would have stopped him.
Yeah, but
Jules,
you gotta
to be fair, Mikey Garcia is a big portly fat guy. He had them fat rolls to absorb them shots now.
Just saying.
Well, you got to understand something. Spence fought an earlier, more broken Kell Brook, hence, by extension, better resume.
Thank you, bro. I hate how people try to compare that shit too, bro. No, you didn't fight a better Kell Brook. You fought a less broken one. That's the perfect way to explain it.
No, if anything, to me,
Look, a more broken one.
Look, I don't give a shit. When Kell fought Crawford, he was coming off consecutive wins. When Kell fought Errol, he was coming right off an ass whooping, a bad one. The man face literally got broke, literally, and that was up there 160. If you do not have the mental faculties to understand that it's not healthy for him to have fought at 60, then the next fight is at 47 with a broken face, bro, I don't need to talk to you then, because you don't understand nothing.
Okay, can somebody
Jesus
explain
Christ,
something to me that I don't understand? Why is Danny Garcia so highly ranked? Why is he so praised as a win?
Beat Amir Khan.
I do not understand it.
Bro,
beat Amir Khan.
It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Like, the Danny Garcia shit is all based on him beating two people at 140 10 years ago. Literally. That's what it's so, because he didn't do nothing at welterweight. So the only highlights they could bring up is shit that he did at 140. But if I talk about Crawford at 140, oh, that shit don't come.
Hey,
right.
how dare you talk about Danny Garcia? That is the future middleweight world champion right there.
Let's once again fact check is a fact check. When Brook came down for Errol, that was from 160 with Golovkin. When Brook came down for Crawford, that was from 154. Right? Not as steep a drop.
Didn't he fight 3 fights at 147, like around the time where they're all at 154? I know he.
No, they were at 54. They was at 54. Okay, but
so
the shit is, it's easier to come down from 54 to 47. It's not easy to come from fucking 60 to 47. That's two weight classes.
Well, unless it's Mikey Garcia, then you can just come down 2 weight classes, and that's normal to fight a guy, right?
Wait, Jules, let's take it even further, bro. Not only is he shocking his system from coming down from 160 to 147, he's a big 147 that had a relief of weight going up to 160, has to come back down to 47, and is now weight drained because guess what? You forgot about it. You know what it is? The IBF rehydration clause.
The 10-pound rehydration.
That dude was cooked going into that fight.
Who was finished, and they act like he wasn't. Like, bro, that man was finished when he fought Spence, bro. Finito.
They want to pretend he was the Kell Brook who beat Shawn Porter.
Shit is crazy.
That Kell Brook died when Triple G smashed his face in.
Exactly. Like, when in them 5 rounds that Gennady was whooping that man ass, that was the last stand of Kell Brook. What we've been seeing are fumes ever since. Vapors of
hologram.
K
cereal out here. He's not special K cereal no more.
Or he's just Kellogg's now.
Is it crazy to say that prime for prime, Spence is at the same level that Kell Brook was?
Yes.
Prime for prime.
Oh, it is insane.
Yes. You know why? What's Kell Brook's best win? What's Kell Brook's best win?
Probably Shawn Porter, in my opinion.
What's Errol's best win?
Probably Shawn Porter. I mean, my favorite win by Kell Brook will still forever be Amir Khan.
No, I mean,
that was beautiful.
That's the profile win, and in many ways the legacy win because of the bad blood. But if you gotta look at it, Kell best win, right? Most solid was Shawn Porter. Errol most solid win was Shawn Porter.
I have a question.
Funny enough, Keith Thurman's most solid win was Shawn Porter.
But that's what I was just going to bring up. So why is it that when Crawford beat beat Porter more convincingly, why is it when it's like a year and a half later, and that it's so much a better, more dominant win when Spence does it? I still don't understand that either.
Oh, because Shawn Porter had 1 foot in
sick
retirement.
in the head, bro. These dudes is sick in the head. Like, listen,
no,
man,
Jules.
man. You wait. I did a video where I mapped the shit out exactly as it happened 2 years before it happened, and before Spence fought Porter, I did a video on that exact. Like, nah, this dude is not gonna knock shit out. He talking shit. He'll win, and it'll be close, but he not knocking shit out, man.
Can we agree? Can we agree that if Porter would have kept on fighting, he still would have been very much in the 147? He would have been a very game opponent still, even if he wouldn't have retired after Crawford.
Yeah. I mean, like, the main thing is that they don't want to accept that Crawford did it better. They trying to, like, everything is there. You feel me? The punch stats, the outcome, and look. Just look at the fucking fight. You don't gotta be fucking Burt Sugar to see, yo, Crawford ain't struggle with this guy like you did, fam. You was in a whole war with this guy. Crawford bull and matadored him and stopped him. You didn't. And don't tell no, he didn't stop him. His father put it's still a stoppage, motherfucker. It's still a stoppage.
Jules,
let me just make this distinction before you say anything. And again, Shawn Porter was not coming off of a loss; he was coming off of a win because he fought in 2020, and then he fought a year later. Just like every single PBC fighter, 1 to 2 fights a year. So stop that shit.
But Jules, you have to understand, Shawn Porter, he was gonna retire. He already decided to retire, so that magically makes it that he was no longer as good when he decided to retire.
Man, listen,
that's how
man,
it works.
I don't. Fuck all that. Like, all that is excuses, because that's the shit. These dudes live making excuses. They've been making excuses for him not stopping Mikey, which is fucking ridiculous. Like, no, motherfucker. When fucking Brook went up 2 weight classes, what Gennady did? He stopped him. When Khan moved up 2 weight classes, what Canelo did? He stopped him. When Rigo moved up 2 weight classes for Loma, what Loma did? He made him fucking quit. If your boy is big and bad and all this bullshit, Mikey should have never seen a 12. Period.
Holy shit. The ghost of David Benavidez' masculinity is in the chat. Goddamn.
Oh, Mirage, buddy. What's going on?
No. See, that's the funny shit, because Mirage wants to lie. I know the judges' street scorecards. I got them memorized. One judge only had Porter winning 3 rounds out of the 9. The other 2 had him winning 4 rounds out of the 9. With the knockdowns, because there were 2. How the fuck was that close? Think about it. Not only is Crawford up on all 3 judges' scorecards, he's already up in terms of rounds. There's 2 knockdowns. How the fuck is that close?
And again, the disingenuous comment by Ezekiel, because Brook was broken before he fought Spence too, dumb.
Exactly.
The argument is, sorry for cutting you off, but like the disingenuous argument is, which of those 2 fighters fought less broken Kell Brook? That's the argument.
My thing is that they was both broken Brooks. They acting like Spence fought a great fan. Like, nah, you fought a weight drain fighter who had surgery on his face, coming off a loss. None of that is my opinion. All of that is simple fact. That's a fact. That's what happened. Before he fought Spence, the dude literally got his face broke. They had to go through his gums to fix his eye. They had to go through
shit, that sounds nasty.
That's what he said. He said they had to go through his gums to fix that shit, right? He's coming off a massive weight cut. That's not my imagination. That's not an annotation. That's a fact. So don't tell me Spence fought a good Brook. If he wasn't broken when Spence fought him, then he wasn't broken when Crawford fought him. If he was broken when Spence fought him, then I'll say, okay, yeah, he was broken when Crawford fought him. 2 could play this stupid-ass game. 2 could play that dumb-ass game.
Man, if Kell Brook was Inoue, he would have won that fight anyway with that broken face. Just saying.
The other shit is, it don't matter anyway. Crawford about to knock this motherfucker out. And if you still talking shit a week out from the fight, don't talk shit after it. Don't make excuses. Because you talking shit. All right, talk that shit. Because you ain't going to have no excuses when your boy get knocked out. Hey, I'm going to smoke a cigarette because I'm motherfucking hot.
Yeah, I remember the watch party for the Shawn Porter fight because that was one of my first times here on the channel. That was so much fun.
Hey, I got a question to anybody. Could I had Shawn beating Errol when they fought? My
If he
opinion.
doesn't knock him down, I think I give it to Porter. If he didn't knock him down, Porter wins.
Exactly. That was the saving grace for him. Is he knocked Porter down in the 11th?
Hold on. You said you had Shawn beating Errol?
Yeah.
So did I until the knockdown, and then I had it a draw.
Yeah.
That was a dog fight, and I thought Porter was putting it on him. The leather he was landing, I thought it was going to be the other way around, and that Errol was going to go down at some point.
Right. He caught him with that flash knockdown.
Yeah.
You know.
But I think that fight took a lot out of him because, man, he went out and got shit. That was the night he went out and got shit faced and got crashed the car.
Yep.
Did you guys see that Spence, when he gave an interview recently, he said even after he had the wreck and he fucked his face up, that he was still out partying and drinking after the fact.
You can.
Well, yeah, he's an alcoholic. The whole stable, the whole PBC stable is alcoholic. Look at Jermall. Look at Jermall when they at fights. They about to fight other people drunk. You know, that's what they do.
Yo, y'all leave Master Bro Right Show alone, man.
Man, no wonder AJ wants to go with Derek James. The party's over there.
Oh, stop.
God, I'm just saying he was with Rob McCracken and the discipline.
I want your guys' opinion.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say I want your opinion. It was a guy that made a video and he said that that Derek James. It was another Derek James is overrated, of course, but he was like Errol Spence kind of had that whole rough inside putting up frames to hit a guy to the body style before, and all Derek James really did was add like a jab and a step back. I just wanted your guys' opinion on that. You think that's like true? Any like merit to that? Because I didn't really watch Errol in the amateurs like that.
I didn't see Errol in the amateurs. I only seen him in his debut.
I'm not going to say Derek is overrated. I think he's done well with his fighters, and he deserves credit. But I will say he had favorable matchups, like with Charlo, Castaño, Errol Spence with the fighters he's fought. You know, I think he had good matchups.
I'm going to ask you a question to your question. Mm-hmm. What do you think, AJ? Do you think AJ looked any different when he went into his last fight against Franklin?
I
think he looked worse.
Basic as hell. I thought he was using just a jab and a right hand. And that's why I was thinking about it. I was like, yo, AJ went to this man and he didn't become Errol Spence. He became a regular jabbing, maybe I'll put a right hand every once in a while type of guy. Like he didn't really do anything new.
That's kind of my response to that because it looked like AJ regressed. He didn't look any better when he switched over to Derek James. But again, you have to give the guy credit because his output, you know, he does have champions. I think there's a lot of guys who have a lot of natural talent that even if they were with somebody else, they had a likelihood they would have competed well. So,
I mean,
I'll say this. Let me say this real quick.
What?
Lord knows I've talked some mad shit about Rob McCracken, and I have. But if this is what AJ looks away from McCracken, get him back to that man. Get him back to that man's stat.
I don't think it's gonna matter who the trainer is with AJ. It's AJ. 1, 2. He has trouble fighting guys smaller than him. Franklin, Ruiz, Usyk. He looked good against Klitschko, guys his size. You know, he just struggles with smaller fighters, and I don't think anybody's going to be able to help him with that until he figures it out in his head. You know.
McCracken is good for teaching the fundamentals. That's what I've noticed from all his fighters. Like, they're fundamentally not bad. They're relatively sound. It's from there that it's just weird.
Then AJ needs to learn the secret arts of Vladimir Klitschko. Jab and grab and rinse and repeat that method every single fight against smaller guys.
I'm going to stand on what I'm about to say.
Kill me now.
I really think AJ, unfortunately, the killer instinct that he had, he's never retained it after he got his ass kicked by AJ against Ruiz.
I mean, I just think
against Ruiz, he's been tentative. He's never been the same fighter that he was.
I think it's earlier than that. I think it happened after the Klitschko fight.
I agree. Fought like
because that was a 50-50 fight, and it should have been a walkout.
But that was in his 17th fight, though, bro. That was the 17th fight, though.
And Klitschko was an old ass man. Like
he was, but who else in the division would have did Klitschko like that? Wilder shouldn't want to go fight him in his 17th fight.
Well, Fury didn't do him. I mean, Fury didn't.
That's what I'm saying. So you got to give AJ some type of credit. And
no, I'm not knocking AJ's win. I'm just saying that he went 50-50 with that man, got knocked on his ass, and he's been tentative ever since.
But you have to give the guy credit. He got off the canvas.
Exactly.
There's no question. There is no question of AJ's toughness here. There's no question of the grit. I mean, and I say this as a Fury fan who thinks Fury would whoop AJ's ass. There's no question denying any of that. I'm saying that after that fight, in which a lot of people thought AJ was going to walk through him because Fury, although it was, I enjoyed it, but I'm a weirdo who likes Fury fights. It was by and large considered a boring ass fight where he just out finessed him.
It was
out finessed him.
It was a very unpleasant fight to watch.
Which one?
I will not argue. The
Fury
Klitschko fight. We're talking about
Klitschko.
Oh, that! Oh my God, that was horrible.
But AJ Klitschko was not supposed to be as entertaining as it was. It was not supposed to be as fantastic to watch as it was.
But who at this point? Who in the division now at 17, 18 fights would be favored against Klitschko at that time?
No,
exactly.
Imagine Jared Anderson getting there right now. Jared Anderson.
Oh my God, Jared would get his hair knocked off.
Oh, Jared, that's what don't get appreciated. I think that Tom is telling the story that this kid's resume was always solid. He was always a good fighter. And what we really could be looking at, which is unfortunate, is that he could be a little bit burned out. 16-0, you fighting unbeaten contenders that are ranked top 10, not in the WBA or the BC or whatever. No, they top 10 in a division. In a division, a whole division. And that's what it's been since 2016. 2016 and onward. Those are all title fights and top 10 contenders, every single one of them. When he fought Brazil, Brazil had just cracked the top 10. He was an unbeaten fighter. Now, he beat the shit out of Brazil for what it's worth. So it's not like I'm saying Brazil was all that. I'm just saying that he was able to beat the shit out of a top 10 guy, make it look easy. Easy. And he was only, 15-0 at the time? Not 30-0. Not 35-0. 15-0.
And who in this day and era, the Povetkin he fought, who beats that Povetkin now in this day and era?
Exactly. Imagine a Jared Anderson, and I like Jared. I still like Jared.
He gets stopped.
If Jared, the Jared that I just seen with Charles Martin, if he had to fight that Povetkin, you getting stopped.
I gotta put some respect on AJ name, man.
That dude got a resume, man.
So do you think it's
Povetkin win is easily AJ's best win, even over the
to me?
Win.
That's one of my favorite AJ fight is the Klitschko fight. My second favorite AJ fight is the Povetkin fight because Povetkin was still very dangerous at that time. Still dangerous. Still Meldoniumed up, not giving a fuck with the family bowl haircut.
Yeah, he hurt him in that fight too. He hurt Joshua in that fight early on.
Caught him with a left hook, busted his nose all up.
Yep.
So guys, I want to ask a question real quick. Do you think that it's that this is a product of Eddie Hearn's consistent over pushing his fighters?
Overzealous. He was over. If I had to put my finger on why AJ is burned out, overzealous. You thought this man was invincible. That's what you thought. Because these guys been doing what the fuck they want, which is one thing that has always pissed me off. Fury do what the fuck he want. Pick a cherry, nobody say boo. Wilder, he been picking cherries. He is in the cherry field with a basket. Has been for 7-8 years, whatever, right? Why are you pushing AJ so hard? And it's because you believe in him. I get that, but you got to show some gangster nah, you motherfuckers don't even make what I make. The fuck I look like taking my marching orders from y'all? Fuck out of my face.
Bro.
We do things my way, or we don't do things.
Fury isn't even cherry picking at this point, bro. You're not even fighting at this point. You're just retired.
Pretty much. I told God, I keep saying that they think that he gonna make all this money and then he gonna come back and go back into the fire? Fuck out of here.
You know what? I missed a lot of this because I was on vacation. I just got back. The Francis Ngannou, that's not a joke.
No,
that's for real, bro. That's real. They fucked
up.
That's for real.
I'm just like I just saw a little thread about it today. I didn't really look much into it, and I saw Coach Malachi I didn't see the episode, but it talked about that on the headline, and I was like, that's a joke, right? That's not for real.
It's for real.
I can't believe that's happening. And and there's a fucking rematch clause.
I tell you, the money, where Fury's at right now, he has Netflix money coming in because there's a Netflix series. On top of that, you got the Ngannou money, and people really think the Usyk fight is still alive. I'm here to tell you that shit is dead. It's not happening.
That's dead, dude.
Dead, bro.
A rematch clause? Are you fucking joking?
I tell you, that shit is not
going. Who cares about what they say? The dude fought Chisora for the third time. Now he's fighting a UFC guy. If anybody really believes that they're going to get in the ring and fight for undisputed, is high on drugs.
Yeah, that was a joke. That made me feel really bad for boxing.
He planned on it. He planned on it when AJ was holding the belt. He was planning on fighting for undisputed. But once Usyk took over, he wanted no part of it.
No problems.
He wanted no part of it.
You know what gets me? Francis isn't even a good fucking striker. Like if you remember what against the Conor McGregor situation, like this was like the granddaddy of these bullshits. Conor McGregor was at least a decent striker. Ngannou doesn't strike well. He is slow. He's large. He's methodic, and he's just got a lot of power behind him. Who does that remind you of? Deontay the Bronze Bomber Wilder?
No, worse version of it. At least
way worse than that, bro.
There's a clip
Ngannou, you can make a sandwich by the time he connects. I mean, it's terrible.
No, but there's like a clip of him fighting. I think it's like a guy. I forgot his name. It's like this black dude that used to be a kickboxer. And Ngannou misses like 7 punches straight. The other guy counters him 6 times, but he doesn't have the pop to do it, and he's moving backwards. Ngannou lands 1 punch, and the fight is over. After missing 7 straight. Backwards, just trying to keep him off of.
MMA striking's been atrocious for years, though. Going on,
it's just that their striking is different. It's different, and look. The main thing is, look, we all know how that's gonna end, but the real thing is what's coming next. And I'm like, y'all might as well strip him now. You might as well. He is not gonna come back here to be fighting people that stand a chance. He's not. It is over. The days of Fury risking anything, no, those days are over. Netflix money, this Ngannou money, and y'all think undisputed? Nah, it's over. Y'all might as well strip him now.
Yeah, with all due respect, people have to I've seen people blow his resume out the water because let's be real. Outside of White, who's already been beaten, your best win is Klitschko, which again, solid win. You technically dethroned the dude, mind you. You ducked the rematch clause, right? But for real, you retired right after that. We all know why: the drugs, the nandrolone, the anti-Semitic statements, right? You retire, you come back, you fight Wilder. Again, we've said our piece about Wilder, right? You fight White after that, and now you're gonna go fight. You fought Chisora and then MMA. That is not this Hall of Fame career you make it out to be.
It's not a Hall of Fame career. They'll give it to him because look.
Who in the right mind would give him that title? They will. Because he's a two-time. You know what they'll give it to him?
Resume, bro. It's a shit.
You know what they'll give it to him? They'll give it to him because he's a. No, it's not even. It's not just. It's because he's a 2-time heavyweight champion. That's a short list. That's a short list.
He's been lineal for 10 years or some shit that they've been saying.
Well, no, but that's the other thing that he shouldn't be. But because we see that there are people that actually try to sell that, when it comes time to vote in Canastota, yeah, they're gonna vote for this fucking ass clown. They are. So it's a given. My thing is that if the media were doing their job, right? If the media really were doing their job, those days of fucking Sporty Lewis and people like that, right? They'd crucify this man because the Usyk fight is right there. If you need Ngannou so bad, Ngannou ain't going anywhere. That shit ain't on no time constraint. This fight is. And you don't want to do it. It's obvious to people. This dude, it's obvious to a lot of people, really. Something about this dude you really don't like, and you don't want to find out. You in the old days, they would have violated you. In this day and age, people are so desperate for an idol, they're willing to propagate, they're willing to put a fraud on a pedestal because they're so desperate for an idol. Yo, this dude is a fraud. How is y'all letting him get away with this?
I thought Otto Wallin was going to win him.
I'll tell you something that will immediately make me no longer a Fury fan if this actually happens. If somehow Dubois beats Usyk and Fury cancels the Ngannou fight,
I thought about that too.
We'll be undisputed too.
Oh my god, I thought about that.
Then I will have
that's like a Haney and Cambosa situation. That's fucking terrible, dude.
I legitimately, I think after he saw what he did to AJ in those 2 fights, he's like, nah, man, I ain't gonna fuck with this dude. Because if he can handle AJ and his size, and it's gonna be a hard day at the office.
Listen, man. Before I close out the live, it's simple, man. We not getting an undisputed champion in this era. I don't know if it'll be in the next era, but I can see it won't be in this one. It's not going down. It's not happening. So, yeah. It is what it is. Gentlemen, I will see y'all tomorrow on the next live.
Everybody have a good evening. Take care of yourselves.
Good evening, everyone.
Anyway, I guess.